count us down. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, welcome to another edition of the Peel, guys.
At Eighth Wonder.
Yes.
With a special guest.
With
Keyword special.
Little yellow school bus.
Dynamo Legend and Dynamo former defender Eddie Robinson.
Well, he'll be a defender tomorrow night, too.
You
He
guys
will be a
throw-
defender tomorrow night.
You guys throw that term legend around awfully loosely around here. And I ain't playing defense tomorrow night. I already told him I'm either playing number 9 or number 10. I ain't running.
Heck, man,
You don't want the
that's
number
not-
11 roll?
Yeah.
There's no running involved on that one.
No, okay. Well, I told Michael Lish he might give the gloves up for the second half. Play with my feet.
Like I said on Twitter, you sure you can make it across the entire pitch?
Yes.
So we are out here at Eighth Wonder. We got the Charities Cup to talk about.
That's how we were.
Yeah.
There's the Charities Cup, and then there's the game, the real game beforehand, the Legends game.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, that is going to be epic. Brian Ching, Brad Davis, Calen, Carr, Eddie Robinson,
Michael Chabala.
Mike Chabala, Greg Weibel,
Dwayne De Rosario.
D-Ro,
Alejandro Moreno.
Yeah,
Alejandro
Moreno's coming
Moreno.
down.
Okay, you know what? You love it.
Man.
So I guess I'll throw it out there now. Who's getting the first yellow?
Me.
Eddie's
I'm
going for the first red. He
tackling
wants us
Chabala.
like midden on the
I'm
pitch.
tackling Chabala. His shirt's going to be too tight and his short's going to be too short. Going straight for him.
If it's a pro referee, make sure that they get the yellow first.
No, dude, that's a good question. I don't know if we're even going to have a referee, to be fair.
If it's a pro referee, you better like actually card the ref.
You can put
like
one of our
immediately
names.
as soon as he
I've
blows the
tried.
first whistle.
I've tried. They won't accept it. They won't acknowledge it.
You can put one of us in there as ref.
That's
Probably
okay,
won't call it
it's
a very
not a
good game,
sanctioned
but
Here's just leading off with a good story. I'm going to go with around 2010. Maybe it was 2010, 2009. Come in for the Dynamo Charities match. I don't remember who we're playing.
Monterey.
Was it?
If that's where you're going with this.
No, this is a different one. And I get in the locker room and I don't dress. I don't change. I'm in my street clothes. And Danny Cruz comes up and he's like, dude, what happened? I said, Danny, the Monterey game was the year before. I said, I got sent off. And I've been banned for the charity game for 3 years. And he goes, oh, you should have seen his face. He's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know they could do that. I'm like, yeah, and I got fined 10 grand. And he was like, oh my, he believed me. I let him go on for a couple hours, and then I told him, no, that's not the case. I was a little bit injured, and I wasn't going to play that. That was a good one. The Monterey game, I mean, listen, if you don't know, just Google it. YouTube, go to YouTube. It was a good time. That's when I found out how freakishly strong Wade Barrett was. I mean, he was so small, but holy crap. I couldn't get out of his grasp. Probably a good thing.
well, there you go. That concludes the segment then.
All right, thank you very much.
So in case you guys don't know, I guess I'll go ahead and plug in now. I have 4 tickets tonight to give away to the Charities Cup tomorrow. So if you're here in person and you want to go, talk to this guy. He'll throw your name in a hat. I also don't think I have the speaker turned up very loud out there, so that's probably problem number 1. Okay, I'll get to that. A little bit.
There.
Better? All right, that works. So I have 4 free tickets to the Charities match Thursday night. They're free.
Well,
So
what we have to make sure we remind people is the 7 o'clock kickoff for the old man.
yes.
And Hristo Stoichkov will be playing. Pronounced that pretty good, didn't I? I've been
Yeah,
practicing.
there's no way I can do that. Ask these guys how to pronounce names. It doesn't happen.
He's a legend. He's playing.
Don't shame me, but who?
Somebody punch him in the balls. Whoa!
Way to go, Edson. I blame you.
We got
It's
the
always
microphone.
Justin's
We've got equipment failure. Equipment failure.
Put it up there so I can lean it down. There we
No,
go.
this is going to be fun. Look, we're playing 2 12-minute halves.
Yeah.
I believe we're playing 18 to 18. I think each team's got 2 or 3 subs. We're going to have some fun. And we're going to be, jobbing each other.
It always happens.
It's
Always
going to
happens
be
with
a
the
good
Legends
time.
match.
But I will tell you this: for anyone that's ever been to a Dynamo Charities match against the team from Mexico, there's always fisticuffs. Always, it always happens. It's inevitable. It's going to be fun. Somebody's going to get sent off. There's going to be a fight. There's going to be an argument. and there's going to be some money raised, which is a good part. So if you want to see a
Yes.
fight and see some money go to charity, you better be there tomorrow night.
Oh, now I'm excited, man. I mean, I've never watched a Liga MX team play against us live. I mean, I've seen the old rivalries that we've had.
Dude, you should have been at Robertson for
Man.
Superliga.
Oh man.
I heard that was before my soccer days, but I heard it was crazy. Megan was telling me.
Oh, Superliga was insane.
Yeah.
That's probably the greatest ever rivalry between an MLS team and a Mexican team was the Dynamo versus Pachuca,
Pachuca.
around
Oh, man.
06 to around 08, 09. I mean, it was always either group stage or always either semifinals, quarterfinals, whatever it was. And it was,
Felt like we faced them at least 3 times a year, and we didn't, but it felt like it.
well, I mean, I remember one of the first games I ever was allowed to play by Frank Yallop was in 2001, and we were at Pachuca before the stadium renovation when it was just basically a big rock carved out of the side of a rock mountain. And I get in, it's 2-1, and Frank Yallop says to me, Eddie, you sit in front of the back four and we don't give up another goal. 5 minutes after I go up, we give up another goal. We end up losing on away goals. But it was that team, man, I mean, like I say, it goes back to San Jose. And God, I mean, just the memories of that stuff and playing in Pachuca and going for team walks and the people looking at us when we're outside of the hotel. I'm like, Dom, this is not safe. Dom, we should not be going for a walk in Pachuca. Right? I mean, going back to the days when we're in Mexico City and Guatemala City, we take an actual security person that says, guys, do not leave the hotel because everyone has guns. And when the shooting starts, the police run the opposite direction. We pull up, there's cops with semi-automatic rifles with combat shotguns, full vests. Remember when we played Tigres? It was a 4-4 draw. I think Craig Weibel might have had a brace. He might have scored. I think it was the game he scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
We go out to get on the bus, and there's 2 gigantic SUVs holding like 20 military police. There's 10 motorcycles, and we're like, wow, this is fantastic. We played Olympia in Honduras, and we get to the stadium. The bus driver, we're about to get off the bus. He parks. He says, no, no, no. And he starts talking in Spanish. I don't understand what he's saying. At this point, I'm one of the older guys. I'm getting off first. He just says, wait. All of a sudden, this little gate opens that's maybe 3 feet wide that you have to turn sideways to fit through. All these riot police come out and make a tunnel with their riot shields. And we're like, what's going on? We start going under, and batteries and bags of urine and pennies and quarters, and I just smash. It's like, oh, this is fun. This is really fun. I mean, the history with those are some of the best freaking memories. Punta Arenas, right? We went to Costa Rica. This is the Pacific side of Costa Rica, right? We fly into San Jose, drive up to the top of the mountains, going over to the Pacific side. Our bus breaks down. Guys start getting out of the bus and walking into the jungle. We're like, no, 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 no. No, there are animals in that jungle that will kill you. Get back on the bus. We get to the stadium. At halftime, the guys are sitting on a group of chairs that don't have legs, but are just bolted to a metal rod that's bolted to the wall. At halftime, the metal rod breaks from the wall and everybody hits the ground. That's not the worst part. When we walked into the locker room before the game, there were 3 piles of shit. Someone actually crapped in our locker room. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. This is the stuff that American teams deal with when they go to Central America. And that's kind of why I love it.
I was just about to say, I mean, a lot of this has to happen in Champions League, you know. I mean, obviously, probably what USA has to deal with, and they're going on the road to Mexico, and man,
Listen, right now, what they're dealing with in Panama. I mean, we went to Panama to play a Champions League game years back. We had to practice during the daytime because they would not turn the lights on for us because it was too expensive to train at night. We were playing in a baseball stadium. It was absolutely insane. I mean, some of the stuff that you experience when you go down there, it teaches you perspective, right? I mean, it's so much more than soccer. You learn about how lucky you are to live where you live and have the luxuries that you have. We take internet for granted. Those people don't have it. I mean, forget about what, not even to mention what Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands and that they're going through right now. But man, it was it certainly had an effect on me, and there's a lot of stories that I can tell you guys that aren't even fit for a podcast that maybe we'll talk about later. But some of these trips were amazing, and it's all led up to this, and I hope that a lot of people are going to come out and really enjoy tomorrow night, because the one thing that I'm excited about is after the Legends game, before the Dynamo play Cruz Azul, we're going to be doing autographs. Mm-hmm. Each Dynamo player is going to be paired with one of the Univision All-Stars, and we're going to be in autographs, pictures, have some conversations, reminisce. That's the stuff I hope people come out and do, because I know these guys love it, and I mean, it means a lot to me. I'm super excited.
And we're extremely stoked about it. I mean, I know that's the main reason why I'm going. You know, I might stay for the whole Charities game. I don't know. It depends on how it's going. But I'm definitely going to watch.
It's going to be fun.
Watch the Legends play.
You're going to want to stay to the end. I'm just
Have
going to say that.
Have y'all seen the jerseys by chance yet?
I have no idea. I was told by Brian Ching that I have to bring my own cleats, my own shin guards, which is that's standard. My own cleats, my own shin guards. And if you want any kind of under like sliders or boxer briefs or anything like that, you got to bring that. We'll have the jerseys, the socks, and the shorts, obviously. I think I'm just going to break out a pair of shoes that I've worn only once. Probably around 2004, 2005, I started realizing that my career wasn't going to last forever. And so what I started doing was every time Adidas came out with a new shoe, I saved one pair.
There you
I
go.
kept it in the box and I put it in the closet. So a couple years ago, for whatever reason, the Dynamo decided that myself, Brad Davis, while he was still playing on the team, and Wade Barrett, while he was an assistant coach, would do a crossbar challenge. I don't know if you guys remember this.
Yep.
I won. Round of applause.
Wow.
Round of applause.
That's impressive.
Okay, I won. Hadn't touched the ball. Owen Coyle was shocked more than anyone, but I pulled a pair of shoes. I pulled a pair of, they were Champions League. They were white and green, had stars on them. I never wore them again. I think I'm just going to pull those out and kind of just give them a little bit of taste of the stadium again, because I like having stuff that's nostalgic. So I've got a closet upstairs in my house that's just full of jerseys and all kinds of memorabilia. I mean, when we were in San Jose the early years, they gave out these big magnums of red wine with the Earthquakes seal carved into it, the player's name, and player of the month.
Yeah.
I won that, and that's up there. I've got a Frank Lampard jersey that I traded in the 06 or 08 All-Star game. 08, right? It was 08 or 06. I can't remember. I got his jersey. I mean, I got all kinds of crap upstairs, and I just want to kind of keep that stuff. So I think I'm just gonna. But these aren't molded cleats. These are studs. Right. So I don't know how my feet are gonna feel tomorrow because I got no more calluses. I've got no more calluses, so it's going to be interesting to see how my feet fare afterwards. I told Chingy I'm only playing 5 minutes a half unless I play in goal. And then I'm going to do a little Renee Higuita, a little overhead scorpion kick.
Dude, that's what I want to see. Put you in the net, man. Come on. Pull Landon Donovan.
I did it for one game on my indoor team a couple years ago, but granted I only played 3 games for that indoor team because I quit because of physical health issues.
So we got a little bit before we go on break, and then we'll throw it over in the next segment. And we'll ask him a little bit about the team outside of the Charities Cup, the actual team. See his thoughts on it. I do have to ask though, how does it feel to be batting 1,000 for the U.S. team right now?
Man, see that's confusing to me. That's a bit confusing. Here's my thing, like I was really fortunate that I got to spend a lot of time in a lot of different camps under Bruce Arena and Bob Bradley. I was on the bench, not in the 18-man roster, for 2 games against Mexico, the one here in Houston, and then one in Phoenix, a 3-3 draw. And those were some of the best experiences of my life, with the exception of the limp fish handshake from Sunil Gulati. I mean, the most powerful man in American soccer has the most ridiculous, weakest handshake I've ever seen.
Why does that not
Sunil,
surprise me?
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get at you. You're the most powerful man in American soccer, and maybe in world soccer, one of them. But it was just a strange handshake. But listen, both of those guys told me on multiple occasions, Eddie, the reason that you weren't more involved is because you couldn't contain your temper. I understand that. It's the only thing I'd go back and change if I could was my ability to control my emotions. They said, we can't trust you in Panama. Okay.
We actually just received an email from Sunil Gunladi. We're going to have to shut our podcast
Did
down
you
now.
say
Thanks,
Goonladi?
Eddie.
Did you say Goonladi?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, Gunladi. Gunladi.
Oopsie. Typo. Verbal typo.
Well, let's go throw it to break. We'll come back. We'll talk Dynamo.
More Eddie.
More Eddie. He could be real on here.
Yeah,
So that's nice.
absolutely.
All right.
Let it out.
Yes.
I'm always real.
Hi, I'm Andrew Wenger, and you're listening to The Peel.
Take long breaks here.
All right, and we're back.
All right. You lead this one.
Heck, man. Well, obviously, personally, I learned a lot about the team the past 2 games in Vicente Sanchez and Albert Elise. Thoughts?
Listen, if you follow me on social media, you know how much I love Vicente Sanchez. Obviously, he's not as young as he used to be. He needs rest. If I'm Wilmer Cabrera, I start him every single game, and I tell him, listen, I need you to be honest with me. I need you to give me as many minutes as you can because that guy is unbelievable. What he creates.
Do you start him, or do you prefer him in a super sub
I
role?
want to start him because I don't want to give teams like Minnesota 45 minutes to gain
Yeah.
confidence because we haven't scored a goal.
Or LA.
Exactly, LA.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Right?
Yeah.
Let's imagine this next game against Kansas City. How awesome would it be to score in the first 10 minutes?
Well,
I mean,
if he-
get Vicente
yeah.
on because that's the best way.
If he can lead this team to a victory without Albert Elise and Kyoto against a team like Sporting Kansas City, absolutely, yeah, no, he needs to go forward as a straight starter.
Well, I mean, look, what you got to think about too is not just what he does on the field for this team. Look at the way he shows up at the stadium. He's in a full suit.
Oh yeah.
Guys don't do that.
Yeah.
He
No.
sets
He sets the bar and sets the
of
example.
how to be a proper professional.
Yeah.
What he eats, his sleeping habits, his everything that we don't get to see. He sets those examples. So all of a sudden, Vicente wasn't on the field. So maybe guys didn't have to hold themselves to the same standards that Vicente seldom held himself to. That's not the case anymore. He's on the field. So now he can look at Mauro Manotas, he can look at Eric Torres, he can look at Tomas Martinez and be nitpicky. You weren't healthy yesterday. I saw what you had for lunch. You didn't sleep. I saw that you were tweeting at 12:01 last night. Right? He can hold these guys to standards that
Yeah.
maybe he couldn't before. And I think that's really fantastic for this team. That win against Minnesota was so good for morale. It just felt like this team was down in the dumps.
Yeah, yeah.
They needed something. Albert Elise, he just keeps making his price go up
Oh,
and
yeah.
up
Oh, yeah.
and up and up. Something Glenn Davis and I actually talked about on a broadcast earlier this year was maybe Wilmer Cabrera is smart with Albert Elise, and he doesn't play him every game, so he doesn't score 20 goals this season. He doesn't show how good he is, so his buy price isn't so high. I mean, this is something that I think is imperative for the Dynamo. They must purchase him.
So,
They must.
yeah, absolutely, and a couple things here too. You know, we've talked about leadership on the pitch. You know, and you bring up Vicente Sanchez because personally, as much as I love Rico, you know, man, we need a captain, we need a leader like that. I just wish Vicente was a little bit younger. You know, it scares me. Like,
Well, the thing with Ricardo, and this has always been his problem, is he's not really a vocal person.
Yeah,
He
he's a
doesn't
quiet
come into
leader.
the locker room and yell at
Yeah.
guys. He is strictly a lead by example guy.
Yep.
There is no one that will work harder for longer on the field than Ricardo Clark. There is no one that will make sure he does the right things on the field like Ricardo Clark. But sometimes guys don't respond to it.
Yeah.
You have to, there are
It's-
certain guys you got to
yeah.
get in their face. And you can only do that if you're doing it on the field as well.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's got to be in the locker room. It's got to be on the field, just like you said. You know, and then I mean, the last thing I got is the form that Albert Elise has been finding. Yes, he's a great player all season long, but these past couple games, he's just been just a game changer for me. You know, it's come late in the games, but he's the reason we've won got these points the last couple games.
Oh man, I think you have to give a lot of credit to Vicente also.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt.
With Alberth, something that hasn't been talked about that we must talk about is that his stock is rising not just in Major League Soccer.
No.
Yeah.
In Mexico.
Yeah.
Possibly in different areas in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even South America. You know, that we don't know, but he knows that. His agent's telling him that. He knows that where he's at right now, at his age, he has the potential to make a lot of money, whether it's in Major League Soccer or whether it's somewhere else. So there's incentive there. It's not just now in Major League Soccer. When I was younger, when I first started, your only incentive was Major League Soccer. You weren't going to Europe. You weren't playing in Mexico. You were playing nowhere else. The only chance to make money was in Major League Soccer. That's not the case anymore, especially for the foreign guys from Central America. So, listen, his only motivation isn't just to help the Dynamo win. I guarantee you that that's what he wants to do. I have no doubt whatsoever about his dedication to this team winning and going into the playoffs and trying to get as far as they can. But you always have to just kind of think about that supplemental factor. Hey, Travis, what's up, man?
If he stays with MLS, he's definitely, in my opinion, going to be a future league MVP. At least Golden Boot.
I think he's going to need some more help.
Yeah.
If that, I mean,
build around him.
Yeah.
Make him the face of your team.
He needs to be the only. Yes. He needs to not be the only one creating. He needs to have some created for him as well.
We're all fans. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I don't want Kubo as the face of our team. At least face of our team.
He's exciting.
He's extremely
exciting. I think Tomas Martinez needs more minutes.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
He needs to be either Boomer Cabrera needs to say, "You're the number 10. That's you're our guy." Right? Maybe Alex is the number 8. Juan David Cabezas is absolutely a future at the number 6. I mean, this is your replacement for Ricardo Clark.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I've never, I haven't in all the years with the Dynamo seen anyone that can do in that position. Well, you know what? I'll say with the exception of Richard Mulrooney in the very early years that can match that number 6 position.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? This is your guy. This is him. This is
agreed.
Need him. Have to have him. But then with Alex Lima, with Tomas Martinez, Mauro Manotas, good grief, how underrated this guy is, how little respect he gets. This is Ramel. He's a roller coaster, right?
He's up and down. Mm-hmm.
If Wilmer Cabrera can figure out his mentality to keep him on his highs, this team can really outscore anyone.
Yeah. It was good to see him back in the scoring the other night against Minnesota, scoring that game winner. And then pulling a Messi afterwards for a celebration.
Yeah. Messi loved those masks.
Best celebration was still Albert the least, but that Messi celebration was good.
Here's my biggest hope for the next 3 to 5 years is that Tyler Derrick doesn't get hurt again.
Yeah.
If you think about Tyler Derrick 2 years ago, and how unbelievably amazing he was. Tally Hall in 2012.
Yeah.
Tally Hall single-handedly got the Dynamo into the playoffs in 2012.
Yeah.
If Tyler Derrick can stay like that, the Dynamo have a really good chance of starting to get back to where we used to be.
Yeah.
I loved Tally, I really did, but man, watching Tyler Derrick play behind him, he was so clutch, and he never lost it, in my opinion, except for the year last year. Let's forget last year and watch that. He is so clutch, man.
Listen, when I was still playing, and this is years ago, obviously now, and Tyler was in, we'd be in training sessions, and we'd be playing small-sided games. Tally would be in one goal, and Tyler would be in the other, and the only thing that would switch was the losing team. Tyler would make saves, and guys would turn around and yell at Tally, "Why can't you make that save?" It was a real competition. I remember we were playing, it was a defenders versus attackers game, finishing. And going into the last round, the bottom of the last round was the attackers, and they were behind the defenders. And I told Tyler, if you shut them out, I'll buy you an Xbox game. Tyler shuts them out, and I'm standing behind the goal. Before I can even ask, he stands up and turns around and tells me what game he wants. He's got it in his hand the next day.
That is awesome.
It's brilliant. I mean, that's the attitude that you want, right? And that's the attitude. So now it's, the Dynamo can get these attacking pieces in places, these young players. Now all they have to start thinking about and looking at is their center backs, because for as good as Leonardo and Adolfo Machado, listen, I think there's an argument that that's the best pairing in the history of the Dynamo. How good they've been. They have been absolutely excellent. They're not getting any younger.
No.
So that's a place the Dynamo have to start looking at. AJ's going to be around for a while. Obviously, B's, he's wanting to get in that last World Cup. I think he will. I think we have a great understudy in Dylan Remick. I think he's
We are
gonna
all extremely
gonna
high on
good.
Dylan.
So there's no reason not to. I mean, the kid's been fantastic, extremely professional.
Yeah.
Dylan
Oh,
Remick,
yeah.
because listen, 2 weeks before the season starts, he thinks he's going to be the starter. Then DeMarcus signs a new contract, so it's like, how does he handle that mentally? I think he's done a great job. So AJ is going to be around a few more years, but that center back position right now is where the Dynamo need to start looking, and I think that's where Wilmer Cabrera has been really key. Sometimes I question his lineup changes and his rotation schedule. I mean, 27 different lineups or whatever it is this year is a bit crazy, but he's the reason there's a Tomas Martinez. He's the reason Juan David Cabezas is here. He's the reason that Albert Elise, Ramel Kyoto, he's the reason that Eric Torres is back to his old ways. So maybe he reaches his tentacles out into different countries where he has connections and can bring a young center back. I think that's what the only thing the Dynamo need. Yeah.
Continue to build the depth. I completely agree with that. It's always your question too, but I'll go ahead and ask it then. Is how long are we going to continue to see these different lineups before he finally figures out this is what I want? Are we going to keep seeing this if we make playoffs? Are we going to continue?
Well, the playoffs are obviously a different animal. If the team that performs well in the first game of the playoffs doesn't start the second game of the playoffs, then I'm going to be extremely frustrated. The way the fixtures have lined up throughout the year, especially now coming up these last couple weeks with the midweek games, this Kansas City game that was canceled, all the travel. I understand, because this is the first time in a while that Dynamo have had the depth to be able to do that, right? So I can't be too upset about it. I'm a person that came from an era where you ride your horses. That's what Dominic Kinnear would tell you. You ride your horses. When they get tired, you put them up in the stable, you let them eat, you let them rest, but then you get them back out there as soon as you can and you ride them for as long as you can. And I think, obviously that's part of the reason we were so successful, but we had the roster size was much smaller.
It's very different
back in my day.
Very
So-
different MLS.
Yeah, it's different. But
We do have a comment here. I'm a little biased only because it's my girlfriend. But if it's okay with the boss, she wants to know if it's okay if you come out the Luckies for the AO watch party Friday and a beer is on them.
I'm gonna have to get back to you. I think I have plans. I'm gonna be with my children on Friday.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to bring your kids into that.
I bring my kids to Lucky all the time, just not watch parties. They love Luckies. The chicken nachos are ridiculous. The cheesesteak is
Yes.
ridiculous.
Yes.
The deep fried jalapenos on the cheesesteak is a secret menu item. Ask for it.
I think I might. If I could make it there on
You
Friday.
can even get them
Now
on
that
the
we know
side.
it
They'll even give it
exists.
to you on the side.
Yes. Now we know it exists.
Yes.
Real fast, going back. I think the different. Me personally, I think the different lineup changes is a curveball for these teams. How do you prepare for not knowing what lineup you're going to get?
Well, the one thing with the Dynamo, I guess the only issue is they play the same way no matter who's on the field.
Yeah.
They want to counterattack. They're going to leave their wings high. One defensive midfielder has to come out when you attack with your wide backs. You can wear those midfielders down. A lot of times it's Ricardo Clark and Juan David Cabezas that have to do the work for Kyoto and Elise, or Winger and Manotas, whoever's out on those wings. So if you can figure out a way to just be patient, not give up a goal, late in the game the Dynamo will start to tire. They'll start to get frustrated. This is the way they play. But if you can get a player like a Tomas Martinez, who we've seen how good he is with his feet, how good he is in possession, at creating things in tight spaces when teams are sitting back, that's when you add that new dynamic. That's why I want to see him on the field all the time. Alex Lima is kind of hot and cold.
Oh, very.
Sometimes he does it, sometimes he doesn't. You paid a lot of money for Tomas Martinez. Let's see what he's got.
Absolutely.
Play him. Absolutely play him. I mean,
I left this segment up to you.
Oh, you just left it up to me. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, that's all I got on it, man. I'm excited for playoff push. You know, I know Eighth Wonder is doing a pregame over here, craft beer fest.
Dude, this place is amazing.
I love their beer.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Eighth Wonder is incredible. You come over here, 3 tokens, $15, and you get a mug. Heck yeah. And it's right down the best part. It's right down the down the street from the stadium.
Here's the thing, right? I mean, it could be nostalgic, it could be old school. I mean, you got the Houston Oilers.
Houston Oilers.
Oh, it is. Oh, sorry about that. I just saw the symbol. I didn't see the words. I can't read good. I'm from North Carolina.
Well, Eddie, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you. When's your next burger tour, too?
That's a good question, man. To be fair, I've been honest. I've been extremely busy lately. I would like to do Balls Out Burger. We've been talking about Balls Out.
I've heard about
for
that.
a while. Right, there's no ranch, there's no bacon, there's no jalapenos. I mean, this is just, they just want the burger. They want you to taste the burger and the meat. I want to go soon. We try to do it on Fridays, you know, so it's the end of the week, so people got to miss a little bit of work. They're okay with it. We're going to try to do it as soon as possible. My man down here sitting in front, Travis Luska, he's been at pretty much all of them, if not every single one, all but one. He's only missed one. We're going to do what we can. I want to try to do it soon, and I want you guys to come.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
I've been to one of them, man. I enjoyed it.
you were at Tornado Burger.
Yeah, Tornado Burger.
Tornado Burger.
Yeah, Tornado
oh
Burger.
my goodness, that's one of the best.
After we do Balls Out Burger, I do have a suggestion for another one, too.
Listen, I'm getting a couple suggestions on Twitter that people are really hammering me for. So,
As soon as I'm able to call out again from work, I will call out on a Friday and go.
all right. Wait, just ask Josh to call out a bomb thrower.
Hey, there you go.
Hey, they'll clear out the whole building. You're like, dude, I ran as fast as I can. I was like Forrest Gump. I didn't stop. Ran straight to the restaurant.
Well, Eddie, it was a pleasure having you on.
Anytime, guys.
We'll have to get you on closer to the end of the season or possibly in the playoffs.
Yeah, let's do it
Closer
for
to
the
the end of the
playoffs.
season. I don't know if there is a closer to the end of the season
That's
right
true.
now.
That's
Yeah.
true.
We're like
Yeah,
3
we are
games
in
away
the
from the end of
We
the
are in
season.
so
Official
playoffs.
He's smart. He's smart and sexy. He's smart and sexy. He's got it all, ladies. Got it all.
Racker, real quick before you get off, he says if you want to meet up for the best burger, it's called McDonald's.
Racker is a troll.
is
I
a
need
troll.
to throw that out there. That is all he does is troll.
Well, he listens to it, so he cares.
Yeah,
about it.
we love
Oh,
you,
no,
Racker.
no, yeah.
Yeah,
He-
we
he
love
does.
you, Racker.
He does.
But again, thank you, Eddie, for coming out. We will go ahead and take a break. You can catch him tomorrow at the Legends match prior to the Charities Cup.
And speaking of the Charities Cup, you should really mention those tickets.
Yes. I do have 4 tickets to give away, 2 pairs for the match. They're free tomorrow. We already have a couple names in the pot. If you are here and want to go, talk to my man Edson. He'll throw your name in twice. So, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going to break, guys. Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie.
I'm Brad Davis, and you're listening to The Peel.
And we're back.
We are back.
Whoa.
In case you missed it, that was Eddie Robinson. Mr. Awesome. I'm going to call him Mr. Awesome.
You know what to suck up?
He is awesome for coming on here.
He is awesome for coming on.
That was really cool of him.
It was.
I love the burger tour plug. That was awesome.
Yes.
Always.
Oh,
It's not very often you get to go out and eat a burger with a
Burger?
with a burger.
God,
As he
your
would
Texan
probably say.
twang really came out there.
Sorry, I was drinking my beer.
He was sitting next to Eddie.
My
What do you
beer.
expect?
Yeah, right. Burger.
Burger.
It's not very often you get to eat a burger with an athlete, a
I
former
thought you were
athlete.
going to say Dynamo Legend again.
A
No,
former
yeah,
athlete,
absolutely,
man.
100%.
You know what? No, he is a legend.
Oh, he is.
And the reason I say it, there's not very many players now that can say they've won 2 MLS Cups with the team. Well, at least here in Houston. Let me rephrase that. Here in Houston. The LA Galaxy's won like
there's
12.
Yeah, I was going to say
So-
AJ can say that.
But the rest of the team can, except
Leonardo
for Rico.
can.
Yeah. I
wanna
said,
keep pushing me? I can give you more.
I exclude them because they're LA.
Rico won one.
No, he won the first 2.
Was he on the
He
team in
was here for the first
2006
two.
as well?
Yeah, he was here for the
I thought
first
he was
2.
2007.
No,
huh?
he was here for the first 2. Then he left. Then he came back for 2012.
He was suspended for the first one and hurt for the second one.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
He didn't actually play in either of them.
No, he didn't play in either of them.
Which is
Remember that? Yeah.
funny.
Carlos Ruiz.
Speaking of LA, perfect segue.
Well, before we go into LA,
Oh,
though,
go ahead.
hey, Josh, where can they find us?
Oh, yeah.
We haven't done that
guys,
yet.
yeah, I'm sorry.
The whole Eddie thing threw us
yeah,
off.
right? Welcome back to The Peel. You guys can follow us on Twitter at ThePeel05. You can like our Facebook page, The Peel 2005. Visit our website where you'll find this show, thepeellive.com. And then like our friends, Eighth Wonder at Eighth Wonder Brew. And then
Yes.
Dynamo Theory.
Yeah.
Is it me or did they just turn up that funk a little louder?
They cranked that really loud tonight. Wow. Boy.
I guess we're going to have to deal. We have background music.
We get some background music for this episode. That's okay.
All right, so now we can go back to LA.
Yes, and so that match was literally the drop and then the back up when you're riding a wooden roller coaster. Because in the first, 20 minutes, you were at the bottom of that roller coaster and you're like, well, this sucks.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah.
Then you get that little first hill. Like, what was the one here at Astro World? Was that Texas Tornado?
Texas Cyclone.
Texas Cyclone. Okay, it was exactly that.
Yeah, it was. It was a
that
roller
match
coaster.
was that ride. Totally.
One of the strangest things about that match, I say strange. One of the things that I really took away from that match is that is one of the first times I have seen at the end of a match the Dynamo show that level of heart and intensity at the end of the match. Hey Butters, can you go grab?
Yeah, ask him to turn it down.
Turn that crap way down.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're losing our train of thought. We got the music just booming.
I mean, it's
Nice.
jamming, but
It is
that's
a jam.
not what we want right
yeah,
now.
It's a jam song. It's awesome. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, the Galaxy game was it was a wild one. It was entertaining, but it was also 2 points dropped.
It was.
2 points dropped, but a point salvage.
I feel
point
almost like it
salvage,
wasn't
yes.
2 points dropped. I feel like that was the point earned. You earned that point at the end of that match by those 2 goals. And you know what? We were inches away from a 4th goal and 3 points.
Yeah.
But then you look at teams such as like the Portland Timbers, Sporting Kansas City, teams above us
Teams
that
that are
have-
3 points above us,
that have plowed through LA Galaxy.
that are 3 points ahead of us.
Well, they are 3 points ahead of us, you know. But like I said, it is still 2 points dropped.
Yeah,
And it
keep
makes
in mind,
it, and
now
it does
keep in-
make it that much closer. you know?
Keep in mind that Portland, we have a game in hand on Portland. We have 2 games in hand on Portland. So that 3 points is negligible at best. So what I'm trying to get at with that, even though I wasn't intending to go on this tangent, but here we go.
1 game in hand.
1 game in hand now.
Just 1 game in hand. 4 points behind.
Okay, I was thinking of, okay, yeah, you're right. Even still, it's a game in hand regardless on Portland. And, you know, I mean, it's 4 points, but we're within striking distance. And, on Seattle, too. Both Seattle and Portland, a game in hand on both of them. I mean, if we win this next game, that's 1 point.
It's not necessarily catching up to them. It's pushing ourselves away from San Jose, Dallas, RSL. That's where I'm getting at with the 2 points dropped. Staying above the red line. now you're pushing yourself away from it, because yes, you do have a game in hand on RSL, but you also still have Sporting Kansas twice in a row without our starters.
No, I feel you on that. I'm just saying, I think you need to.
They weren't awake at the beginning of the game.
No, they came out flat at the. Well, they came out flat at the beginnings of both halves.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at is, this is the first match that I've really and truly seen heart and intensity to close a match out.
Oh, absolutely.
They wanted those goals at the end of the match. Elise did everything in his power to get those goals at the end of the match. Sanchez did his work. It was a well-earned point and very close to being a well-earned win, which would have been even more amazing. But it keyed off.
The ref was trash.
Fodes was.
The ref was trash.
I didn't want to put that match on him, but I
Oh
don't like
no!
blaming well, no,
no,
I don't
it
like,
was on him.
I don't like blaming a ref for a result, but that match was totally a result of bad refereeing.
And to be fair to LA, he was bad on both sides. It wasn't just Houston that got screwed in that match, but at the same time, it was bad. I mean, Travis and I have talked about this, and I've talked about it with other Dynamo fans. I've been to a crap ton of MLS matches and NWSL matches, and I've been to international matches. That match, by far, was the worst officiated match I have ever been to. I've been to high school games that have been better officiated.
I actually went to a extremely non-sanctioned, not even a high school. This was actually for work, and it was just a tournament between random teams. I've seen better officiating by some of my coworkers.
Fotis is bad, and all you have to do is look back to 2014 when he was suspended. Basically suspended by pro and forced to go back through the pro training program because he was so bad, and yet he's back and he's now considered one of their best referees.
And this does still fall on the Dynamo. Yes, the ref did ruin the game a little bit. Okay,
but it was also the last two matches we've dealt with horrible refs.
But the Dynamo are still allowing those chances to happen. The goals.
That's true.
I mean, yeah, the first one against LA, the offside goal. Don't even let it happen at that time.
Well, that wasn't an offside goal. That was an own goal.
No. I'm talking about the first game against them.
Oh,
yeah,
in LA.
Yeah, let's agree.
In LA.
Yeah.
You try that again, Josh?
No.
No, he's saying the Alessandrini goal where he was off.
Yeah.
I follow what he's saying now. In LA. Yeah.
Don't let it get to that point, though. We shouldn't have to rely on the ref.
Well, kind of like
screw us out of a game.
Kind of like the match against Minnesota that we'll talk about here in a minute.
Yeah.
In just a few seconds, or actually just a few minutes. You go out there and you score those 2 goals, and you keep the opposition on the back foot in such a way that you can control the game and the flow of the game. And I understand that. I'm just saying, looking at the LA match, if I have to look at it in an isolated chamber, in a vacuum, so to speak, I'm content with how we came out of that match with a point. Going into the 80th minute, we weren't getting a point. So
I would have been devastated if we were lost.
Yeah,
so I was not as mad.
And I kind of feel like
it was entertaining.
I kind of feel like the Dynamo needed that point, or at least needed a result out of that match, not based on anything like standings or anything like that, just based on mentality, like Eddie was talking about. The team had been struggling. And so you kind of see that shift start to happen, and then what happens in the very next match? They come out, and it's a different intensity out of the gate. I say that. The first half was still miserable in Minnesota, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But, at the same time, it keyed what happened in the next match. It was important for them to get a result. They got the result. They took 4 points out of 6 points for the week. Out of 2 matches that they absolutely had to get results in both matches. They're above the red line. They're in 5th place right now. They're in good position. We'll talk about this in a minute. FC Dallas is probably losing a point, which puts us in an even better position. There's a lot of things going good in our direction for Houston and for the Dynamo. And I think at the end of the day, we have these 2 matches coming up against KC and KC, and then here in Houston against KC, and then in KC against KC. I think if we come out with results in both of those matches, 1 a win and 1 a draw, 4 points out of those 2 matches, I think that keys us for a run at 4th, 3rd, 4th, even 2nd potentially. I do feel like Vancouver's kind of sealing the deal on 1st place at this point in the West, but looking at the microcosm of the LA match, in a vacuum by itself. I'll take the point. I don't want the point to be I didn't want that. I felt like we should have played a whole lot better. But at the same time, to see the fight, to see the team claw back into it the way that they did.
And it kind of goes back to what Eddie was saying. Vicente Sanchez.
Oh, he was a game changer. He is a game changer. Was a game changer. And, I turned and talked to a couple of the guys behind me and in front of me. At this point, I would be okay if the Dynamo re-signed Sanchez for another year.
Absolutely. No,
I mean the guy as a super sub can do it. I mean, if you need him to start a match, he can start and play 30 minutes, 45 minutes in a match if he needs to be. I mean, he's incredibly fit for a 37-year-old. He still has the pace. He still has the – I mean, it doesn't have the full pace that he had before, but he's still beating guys on the sidelines. I mean, he's got so much technical ability and 102, so I'm in the perfect, second row, so I'm perfect position to see him in that second half. I mean, what he did in that second half against Minnesota, I mean, it was just incredible to watch in person, and it was even more incredible to see him do it right in front of me multiple times against defenders that are decent defenders that have held other players in check for an entire match. And I mean, he was just beating them left and right, and I'm just like, yes, I want more of that next year. Yes, it was beautiful.
Yeah, and I didn't expect Vicente to do very much for us when we did sign him. I think we were all kind of the same way. It's like, okay, yeah, we'll take him. Sure, why not?
No, I said he could give you 15, 20 minutes a game. That's what I said when he signed. 15, 20 minutes a game.
But did you expect him to be doing this well with us?
I don't think there was ever a chance I don't even think Wilmer expected this out of him. And part of it is he's kind of playing that Brad Davis role, right?
Absolutely,
where he's playing the service guy. And it fits him very well because it allows him to break free.
Because essentially he's a forward.
He is he's playing a winger, but he also plays the 10.
Yeah,
I've seen him shift into that 10 role and then feed a ball up, over the top to somebody from there too. Let's. I closed the show notes. Hold on, I need to see something real quick. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. We've kind of ruined the show notes. All right, so we're there. All right,
I'll get us back on track after this segment.
Okay. So what I was going to say is let's go ahead and switch over then to Minnesota. Let's go ahead and start talking Minnesota match. And part of that is because we've kind of already touched on it, so we might as well just dive right
in. LA's old news now. Yeah, it was a fun game.
Well, LA's old. I mean,
yes.
That just kind of says it all right there. The Minnesota match. So Sanchez had both of those assists, and one was in the run of play, which when was the last time you saw a player other than Morrow or Wenger get an assist in the run of play from the wing?
Yeah, no,
it doesn't happen
incredible.
for us
ever.
That was
incredible.
And then for that service in the 80, I don't remember what 90 plus one or something. No, it was 80. It was 88 because it was before the whistle. Or before regulation was over, because we still had time to get in there and get another one. So it's like 88 or 86 or something like that, and at least gets that. Or Minnesota was the second goal. I'm thinking of LA.
Minnesota was the third goal. We were up 2-0.
Yeah. That's what it was.
You have the MLS page open. Just bringing the stats up.
The first goal delivered to Elise.
It was a long week last week.
There was a couple games. The first goal delivered to Elise from Vicente Sanchez.
Yes,
was one of the most beautiful crosses I've seen in a long time for that header. That was incredible.
Elise deserved it. He worked so hard to get it. But, I mean, it was just,
absolutely.
It was
but the fact that he actually finished it too, and he was there, perfect. That was flawless.
Oh, it was. I'm gonna say this real quick because it needs to be said. That celebration with the Black Panther mask.
Oh my God.
Was perfect. And here's the thing, and I've said this before, MLS needs personalities, especially from guys that are scoring goals. And they don't really have anybody that has that level of personality of an Elise.
No.
This is a guy that they could market, and you've seen it immediately.
Uh-huh.
That next morning, MLS Soccer had 3-4 articles out. It was all over the place. They were pushing it. Houston Dynamo were pushing it. They changed their Twitter handle to the Twitter name, the display name to Wakanda Pandas.
Yes,
not Pandas.
The Wakanda Panthers. That was awesome. Yeah.
He pulled up the stats. Thanks. I was in the process of doing that.
Bro. I got you, fam.
Appreciate you, Josh. Justin, you can go for a long walk off a short pier.
What?
No, I think the picture that they did post, I would have loved to have that as our FIFA 8 custom cover. I'm sorry.
FIFA
I'm sorry,
18.
FIFA 18. Yeah. FIFA 18 custom cover.
Well, you know,
the Wakanda Panthers, man. That is, I mean,
it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
I hope that there is somebody out there that creates that team in FIFA 18 and screenshots it.
With the Wakanda Panthers.
The Wakanda Panthers.
I think
it's
it's
on
you.
I think we have a new one
It's
now.
on you.
I think we have a new one now.
16.
Well, do it in FIFA. I don't care what FIFA you do it in. Just do it in a FIFA. I want to see it.
It doesn't really matter.
I want to see it. It needs to happen. But you know, it's just I bring that up because I feel like for so long that's the one thing that MLS really needs to truly capture the casual fan and get them to tune in, match in and match out. Is they need personalities. They need guys that are marketable. They need guys that are fiery. They need guys, you know, that not necessarily the controversial side of it, but you know, you look at the NFL, celebrations are a big deal. What happened this offseason? You know, prior to this season, the last 3, 4, 5 seasons, they've been cracking down so hard in the NFL on celebrations. You couldn't do certain celebrations. This offseason, they decided that they were going to remove a lot of those restrictions, and now you can do a group one.
Don't ask. My phone's on vibrate.
Calen's not calling you by accident again, is he?
No.
If he is, go ahead and pick it up. We'll
Yeah,
just
right.
interview him right now.
Interview him right now.
But anyway, so back to the match. Let's break this match down. I mean, it was 2-1, and both of those goals were fantastic goals. Both were served in by Vicente. He had the corner kick that went to Kyoto, and then he had the run of play that went to Elise. And that run of play goal was just, like you said, I mean, the service in was amazing. And Elise doing the hard work of splitting the defenders and getting to that ball first. There was nothing that Minnesota keeper could do about it. Shuttlesworth had no chance at Shuttlesworth had no chance at it whatsoever. And same thing with the Kyoto goal. That Kyoto goal was fantastic too.
Absolutely. And, you know, and you say that Albert Elise, you know, he's 21.
Yep.
This kid is a game changer. He's a team. He's, like I said, he's a future league MVP. If he stays in MLS, this kid's going to be dominant. And it's scary to even think about teams outside of the States looking at him and wanting him, and his cost and price just going up and raising. And it's just...
Well, with that being said, and I didn't want to bring it up in the Eddie segment, but his number's locked, isn't it? For what the Dynamo can buy him at. Like, their number won't change, correct?
According to what I've heard from sources, yes, that number is a locked-in number. Now, that doesn't mean that that Monterrey couldn't turn around and say, well, he's performed a lot better than you expected. Let's bump that price up. But from what I understand, they did they agreed to the transfer fee prior to his loan, or as part of his loan. So the transfer fee was already set. I could still see Dynamo chipping it a little more, type of thing.
Who's also to say another team doesn't come out of nowhere and say, okay, that's your offer, we'll double that.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, they obviously, even if it's been agreed upon verbally, it's not agreed upon on paper because they can't do that. So, the real question, I mean, we just have to wait till the offseason to see it. Right now, let's focus on what's going on right now. We have a team that is on the upswing. We have a team that are pushing for playoffs. Push for playoffs. It's right there on the thing. If you turn it sideways, there you go. Push for playoffs. We have a team that are with attackers that are flying high right now. We have the international break, but I hope those guys come back after the international break for that last match, and I just hope they tear a new one into Chicago.
Oh, absolutely.
And Chicago should have their place nailed down by then, too.
Yeah, who knows what they'll be playing for at that time. I mean, if they're going to be playing for a certain spot or if they're clinched.
Well, they'll be playing. I don't think they'll be playing for a spot. I think Chicago's pretty much got theirs locked up.
So that means we probably won't even see Bastion over here.
Are you complaining?
Oh, yeah, I am complaining.
I want to see.
I want to get some vault passes.
I definitely don't want to see
leave your fandom behind it. Talk about playoff push. I don't want to see him here.
No. Him and Nikolic.
No, rest Nikolic. At least bring Bastion on the bench.
I don't know if you noticed, but Josh knows players based on their fantasy values.
I'm not touching that right now.
Just saying.
Shut your mouths right
now.
No.
I mean, and that's fair. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's how you learn players, though. That's how you learn players from other teams. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how I learned football.
That's a different sport.
You play MLS fantasy too.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the Golden Boot for Nikolic. What are you talking about? They would rest Nikolic.
I know they
I was
will.
talking about NFL
Oh,
fantasy.
I was talking about
Fantasy
MLS
value.
fantasy.
Oh, I don't care about their fantasy value in MLS.
Anyway, it was a 2-1 win by the Houston Dynamo Saturday. It was good. It was a very entertaining match. Got to keep these guys on track.
Very entertaining match.
Yes,
Did you show up at halftime?
it was entertaining.
The first half was not entertaining.
Okay,
I didn't think it was bad.
That first half put me to sleep. Are you kidding me?
It should have. I mean, we
That
should have
first
scored,
30
but
minutes felt like I literally was watching two Pee-wee teams play.
I think the
They
chances.
generated
I think
at half,
chances,
the two teams combined had generated less than 5 shots.
I think the chances and what was on stake, what was on the line going into that game made it an entertaining first half for the most part. Now, when the goals came in the second half, yeah, it showed that we could close out a game.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what matters the most in it. But I mean, there was a lot of good chances in the first half. Yeah, there wasn't a goal, but whatever. I mean, it's push for the playoffs.
Well, I mean,
man.
the big kicker, I think, to all this is the number of shots that we held Minnesota to defensively. That means that your midfielders and your wingers were getting back, and they were holding their own against the wingers and the forwards for Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota was held to basically like 8 shots total, and they netted 1, but it was really, really late. Which made me glad that we had that second goal from Kyoto. They scored that goal.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
we
went,
needed it, obviously, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But then we, right after that goal, when we came out and we were pushing for our goal. So, it was good to see that we didn't just sit back and, players didn't kind of revert to a shell and just try to hold on for the points. They pushed to get that final goal, and I mean they were close on getting that goal as well.
It was definitely an on the edge seat game
yeah.
at the end. It was scary
yeah.
for a moment there when they
For
scored
sure.
when they scored their goal. So
For sure.
well, we got about a minute and a half till we could take our next break. So I'll go ahead and plug the tickets again. If
Good
you would
call.
like to go to the Charities Cup match tomorrow, talk to my boy Edson over here or comment in the YouTube stream. He will put your name down on a list. If you're here in person and want to go, your name goes on a list twice. They are free. So I got 2 pairs of 2 tickets.
heck yeah.
Yes.
And also, real fast, heading back to that Chicago game, Sunday, October 22nd, 8th Wonder is going to have a pregame craft brew fest here. So come hang out over here. From what I was told, if you park over on the corner of the
There you go.
I think it's the corner of the parking lot over here.
Yeah.
From what I was told, you get a couple free beer tokens. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's actually 8th Wonder's parking. That's why they're doing
Yeah.
that. So
I don't
if
know
you
how
park
much.
in-
I don't know how much the parking is over there, but I mean,
It's
still
free.
beer.
I mean, it's free during the regular. It might not be free during beer.
It might not be.
Fest, but-
It might not be free. But I mean, if you pay for parking, you're gonna get beer.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
exactly. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it.
When we come back, we will have an interview that was recorded yesterday with Calen Carr. Go ahead and play that. And then we'll come back, do a little bit down in the valley, and then we'll talk U.S. soccer
And other stuff.
and other stuff.
Heck yeah.
Where can they find us, Josh?
Yes, you guys can follow us on Twitter at ThePeel05. You can like our Facebook page, ThePeel2005. You can visit our website, thepeellive.com. And then also like our friends 8th Wonder at 8th Wonder Brew and Dynamo Theory.
All right.
Hey, what's up, guys? Calen Carr here. And when I'm listening to Houston Dynamo news, I'm listening to The Peel Forever Orange.
Welcome back to another part of the Peel, I guess you could say. We have a legend, Calen Carr,
Yes.
on the phone right now.
Yes, it is. It is.
Hey, what's up,
awesome.
guys? How's it going?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Yeah. First off, thank you for allowing us to do this interview with you, man.
Yeah.
It's an honor for us.
And then also,
as fans.
Happy birthday. Since your birthday is Wednesday, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
This feels like a long time coming. Last time I came to Houston, I saw you guys around the training center, and we've been talking about making this happen, but it couldn't be better timing with, the birthday. Why not celebrate? And also a bit of a homecoming, getting to come back and visit, see familiar faces, and all for a great cause.
Yeah. So how does one prepare for this? I mean, you haven't. I mean, I don't know if you play too much in your spare time, but how does one get ready for this? You know, I mean, it's kind of a big deal right now with all these legends coming back to play at BBVA.
Well, I have to be honest, the pitches here in New York City are much smaller than in Houston. So I've been playing men's league off and on, but about 6-on-6 in the fenced in field. And so stretching it out is probably going to be a challenge, but I think one that all of us retired players will have to share in. So we will see. I hope Theron Ends, the athletic trainer, is still available because we may need him.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, other than Mike Chabala, because I'm pretty sure he has 1% body fat. A bunch of these guys are a little aged. Do you think? And Eddie's probably going to get on us about this. Do you think Eddie can go the full length?
Honestly, I'm just hoping Eddie puts down the steak and sausages just for long enough to make it through a half. But
hey,
I follow him on Instagram, and it's all food pics. So,
it's all food, man. He does his burger
Eddie
tour.
Is able to maybe join some Chabala Spearfit classes the week leading up to this. We probably all could use a little bit of that Chabala Fit workout, but no, it's going to be fun, I'm excited to play with Eddie.
Chewy's tried to get us out there a few times, and Josh and I are in no shape to even attempt 10 minutes.
I mean, we run a soccer podcast, but we drink beer on it. What does that say about us?
We'll make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll just go ahead and dive right into it, man. What has been your most memorable experience or game when you played with the Dynamo back from 2011 to 2013?
Wow, that's a good question. I have so many of them. I guess I was just looking back on the BBVA Compass Charities Cup back in 2012. We played against Valencia, scored a good goal in that one, but I don't know. I think more of the playoff runs are the ones, obviously, that are going to stand out to me. Besides opening the stadium, that was a big one. But the playoff runs for me were the most special, from the play-in game in Philly and then Chicago the next year to battling it out with Sporting KC in the playoffs. I think some of those teams, some of those moments, and then, obviously the MLS Cup, that's really was what Houston Dynamo was about. MLS Cups, making the playoff runs, and I think that was why it was a bit painful to go through that period where they were outside the playoffs looking in. And now, with a couple weeks left, all to play for, Cabrera, Matt Jordan, the whole organization have done such a good job of rebuilding the franchise to give it a chance to look at the playoffs again. So it's a good time to come back.
Yeah,
well, that's perfect. That kind of answered one of my other questions there on your thoughts on the new Dynamo team heading in here. And I mean, hopefully we can make this playoff push. It's been a tough couple of years, especially after the 2013 season when we finally start missing playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I feel like people, hopefully the fans realized, I think the organization did as well, how spoiled they were.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if you look at across the scope of MLS, and I travel around now on behalf of MLS Digital to every market and stadium, and you don't see a lot of teams with sustained success now. I mean, the Galaxy were maybe the only exception, and look at them now. I have to say, there's a little bit of pleasure watching them suffer after them taking us down. But I think, things come in waves, and what's exciting for me on my visit back and sitting down with Wilmer was to get a chance to peek into his mind and really about creating a plan and a system that is something that can get the Dynamo back to a sustained success. And I think that's what the fans want. And I know that's what every team strives for, where it's not just 1 year you're in the playoffs and you're doing great, the next year at the bottom, but to really get back to that consistency of performance and to give yourself a chance, because anything can happen when you get to the playoffs.
Do you have a standout player that's on this team right now that really catches your eyes?
I love Elise. Yeah, I mean, to me,
Panther.
I actually think he's underrated. We just did the MLS 24 under 24 list, and I think he came in at like 12 or 13. And not to single anybody out, but he's a year younger than Areola and Jordan Morris, and to me, I would take him over both of those guys who are ranked, I think, 7th and 9th or 10th. I mean, it's just a list. It doesn't mean anything. But I think he's that talented, and I love watching the Dynamo play now. I'm not just saying that. It's a fun team to watch. It's a team I would like to play for, if these legs would get going again. But they're dynamic. They can get out on the break. They're fast, and they look forward. And those Kyoto and Elise on either side, I think, are two of the toughest matchups in the league. So if they can get in the playoffs, I think they can cause some problems.
Oh, no doubt. I think the best part about Elise right now is, obviously the pace, but his age, and just from knowing what we have to look forward to with this player, making playoffs is obviously a must for us as fans, and I'm sure for the team as well, but looking forward for the future seasons with him, it's exciting, it really is. And
well, I think you're seeing the better teams now are the teams that are going out into the international market and finding top players, but top young players. If you look at Atlanta, for example, a guy like Almiron, or you look in, of course, in Houston, Dallas for a long time has been able to kind of find homegrown players. So whether you're creating them or you're going out into the international market, that's the formula. Now, whether you can hold on to them and keep them is the next challenge. But I think that model is a smart one to follow.
So, as jokingly, you brought up some of the former teams, and especially like the 06, 07 teams, and then of course your teams in 2011, 2012. Do you think your 2011 and 2012 teams could beat the 2006, 2007 teams?
Oh, no.
No.
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, it's tough to compare eras, but when I played against those 06, 07 teams, and they were tough. I mean, I remember getting steamrolled in Juan Carlos Osorio's first game as manager for us with Chicago. We had Cuauhtemoc Blanco, and I think we got absolutely smoked 4-0 at home. And I just remember, Chingy, Dayro, Brad, of course, but then you had Stu Holden. You had all these guys that were even just, a step beneath, just waiting to break through. And that's no knock on the teams I played on. I think when you look especially back on them now, you remember having Jeff Cameron, Bobby Boswell, Brad in his prime, Chingy still scoring goals.
How is Boswell still playing, on a side note?
He's incredible.
Well, you know what? I hate to say it, but when I think about, and this is just my opinion, but when I think about some of the losses that the Dynamo suffered in that sort of transitional time, if not the biggest, one of the biggest ones for me was letting Bobby go a little early. I think when you think about his, he went on to several more years with DC United, and was the captain of their team, really anchored that back line. He was paired with a young up-and-coming center back in Steve Birnbaum. But Bobby, as far as his presence in the locker room, keeping guys going, and his intelligence on the field, I think may have been let go just a little bit too soon. Yes, it's fair to make fun of Bobby. He can't run anymore. He never really could, but that's part of his longevity. And I think when you look at all the places he's been, he's been a part of winners. So yeah, ton of respect for that guy. I'm sure anybody else who's played with him will say the same.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I mean, losing Andre Hainault and Bobby Boswell was devastating for me as our center back pairing. It was it was suffering. So
yeah.
We'll go into our next question. Who was your favorite teammate when you did play with us? Do you have one?
Well, Bobby's up there just because I think he was such a great leader and a fun guy to have in the locker room. But I honestly, Brian Ching is the guy that when I look back on my career, probably the guy I'm most proud to have played with is Brian. I think right when I got traded from Chicago to Houston, I got a call from an 808 area code, Hawaii, for those of you who don't know, and it was Brian, and I was like, he was just like, hey man, I just want to welcome you to the team, and you know, I've been around the league and talked to a lot of guys, and it's not super common to get a call from the captain welcoming you. It can happen, but it made me feel so much better about arriving down there in Houston, and you know, just a leader, do anything for the team, do anything for the organization, or anything for the city. So for him to kind of lead this type of charge, especially around the charitable efforts of the Dynamo, is something where, you know, when Chingy picks up the phone call and it's like, hey, get your butt down here, it's like, you listen, you know. So, and that held true as a teammate too.
Well, it really is the house that Ching built, you know. And I mean, that says a lot about someone like that. You know, that's pretty class act.
Yeah.
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 What would you say your favorite MLS rivalry was while you were with us? Mine personally, it was Sporting Kansas, but
yeah, definitely. I think, you know, we talk a lot about rivalries now in MLS, and some of them are changing and evolving, and some of them people complain about feeling forced or contrived. I always think that's kind of just where we're at with the league, where, hey, we were in the Eastern Conference alongside Sporting Kansas City. So the Dallas-Houston rivalry always meant something, but just by virtue of us not meeting in the playoffs, it couldn't have the same type of tenor that it did with Sporting when I was there. So some of it came down to sort of friendly rivalries and some not so friendly with like Kai and Corey, who I know were homies when they were teammates, but also, you know, competitors going against each other. I personally just wanted to in any way embarrass Aurelian Calen and just like resented him so much.
Yes.
So anytime we beat them was great, and you know, I think they were emerging as a club, and I think part of it from the players' perspective is we wanted to sort of protect the legacy or identity of the Dynamo as the team of champions, or the teams that could get it done in the playoffs with our mentality. And so we didn't want to give them an inch. So that was a big part of the rivalry and the sort of psychological aspect of those matchups. And now they did go on and eventually break through, but we tried our best to hold serve while we were there, which is what a rivalry is all about.
Well, absolutely, you know, and those are still, I mean, some of the best rivalries I've seen. You know, in those playoffs, you bring up a lot of that, and man, I still can't forget that Adam Moffat goal in the playoffs.
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah, and Aurelian Calen just looking at it go in too. That was the best part about it.
Yeah, I just was going to bring that up. I remember in that game, there's like been so many slow motion replays, but if you look back on it, the ball kind of whizzes by me and Aurelian Calen, and I couldn't even believe Adam hit it. Now, he scored a number of goals like that over the couple of years.
Oh, yeah, Moffat bombs, man.
Don't shoot. Oh, yeah, good shot. And then I remember later in the game, I got a throw in, and Aurelian Calen had been fouling me all game. And every time he kept apologizing, where he was like, oh, I'm sorry, man, you okay? And I was like, what's this guy's deal? Because he's like trying to be my best friend, but he's also just like taking a lump out of me any chance he gets. And so I think he was just trying to play like mind games. And so I ended up like cutting him pretty bad off of a throw in, I think from Boney, I can't remember, and took it down and crossed it to Will Bruin for the second goal.
I remember.
And I remember just jogging back afterwards, and I gave him a little pat on the butt just to be like,
oh, man.
And other than that, I never wanted to engage with him because that's what he wanted, was for you to kind of like freak out. But that was like my one moment of engaging with Aurelian Calen, and then luckily we were able to hold serve in the second match.
That is an awesome. I like that story there, man. So all right, so here's the real question though. So if you score on Thursday, can you still jump over the corner flag, and will you?
Oh no, I didn't even think about that. Good God, I don't think so. I might need like an elevator or a boost. Maybe Chingy can come over and give me a boost, and I'll hop over that. Yeah, I don't confront many corner flags these days, or even think about elevating up there. I live on a 5th floor walk up here in New York City, so the risk of injury for me has grave consequences as far as actually getting upstairs. So
those were the best celebrations, man.
So,
I loved it.
You know, we do this show, and it's almost just like your barroom discussion. So we do a lot of predictions. With the lineup that Univision Deportes has, what do you think is a score line for Thursday night?
Geez, I try and avoid predictions at all costs when it comes to games, but why not? This is a charitable match. I'll predict there's going to be goals for sure, because I've seen the lineup, and it's Doug Leash, De Rosario, Chingy, Brad Davis, Moreno, Leibel, I don't know if he's making any goals. Weaver, so we've got some attack going, but I think it'll be hopefully some goals for the fans, maybe 3-2 good guys. But about a
good. I like that.
I like that. And so you guys don't forget, you'll be able to catch Calen. What is that? 7:00 is when the Legends match starts Thursday, tomorrow against Cruz Azul, which that match starts at 8. But I can tell you right now, a lot of people are going just for the Legends match.
Oh, I'll probably leave halfway in the Charities Cup. I'm definitely watching the Legends match.
Yeah. And then all proceeds are also going to Mayor Turner and Judge Ed Emmett's Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund as well. So thank you, Calen, for doing this. It's much appreciated. Yeah,
man. Hey,
of course, guys. Anytime. Yeah, it's great to chat with you guys, and looking forward to seeing all the fans and friends and familiar faces. Hopefully at the stadium coming up.
Well, if you do score, we are in the Tecate side of the stadium.
So where you pass the ball to Will in that playoff game, in that corner, come say hi to us.
Okay.
All
right. I will be looking for you guys.
All right.
Appreciate it, Calen. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Talk soon. See you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
There you have it. That was Calen Carr. Played 2011, 2013 for Houston Dynamo.
Yep. 35 appearances, 5 goals, and then obviously one of them in the lone Dynamo goal in the MLS Cup 2012 game. So but that was legendary.
Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and go to break. Even though this is recorded, we set it up to where it flows very nicely, because that's what we do.
Hopefully,
there's
not a lot of editing.
No. All right, guys, going to break.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Kyle Murphy, and you're listening to Down in the Valley with the Peel.
What? Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Perfect. All
So
right.
we're back.
Now we're back. So Calen Carr.
Yeah, that was our interview with Calen Carr. We recorded it yesterday. Today is his birthday, so he wasn't going to make it in town for that. But talk about Charities Cup a little bit. Talk about his time here in Houston.
Yeah, that was good. Good interview with him, and talking about old times with the team. That was awesome. Reminiscing with him, and then give him a follow on Twitter at Calen Carr. He does the MLS editor and does the show. I know he has a segment for RGV.
Yes.
And then you guys can also catch him at the Legends game tomorrow at 7.
But that takes us into our Down in the Valley with Carson. Carson, what's up?
Yo, what's up, guys?
Not much.
What's up, Carson?
Well, the Toros didn't make the playoffs. I mean, that's not up, but it's down, I guess. Down in the valley.
Yeah. But
Well played. I don't know if that's even well played.
No, but honestly, like this is from how the Toros were playing before. We really weren't really thinking of making it to the playoffs. This was pretty much a good plus, very welcome addition. Having the players give this extra boost at the end of these final games, and hopefully they're able to continue this form in these next couple of games. But because I don't know about you, Carson, but I feel they could have had this game against Swope Park Rangers. What can you tell me?
They definitely could have won this one, and I think it's definitely important to mention, like you said, they're playing well now. It wasn't too long ago they lost like 4 matches in a row. You and I were talking about what the motivation was going forward, and I think they've really shown something as far as the match Saturday. Definitely could have won. Had a 2-0 lead on a really good team, and then unfortunately ended up finishing level. But I know in the grand scheme of soccer, draws are better than a loss, but some of the draws hurt more than they should. But
yeah, especially since this was the last home game of the season. I was down there, and so the crowd was wild. Then all of a sudden, the team starts conceding these 2 goals late in the half, and it brought the morale a little bit down on the fans. But they were there, supporting the team till the end. So that was really good. After the game, there was a lot of the fans stayed after the game to get some autographs and photos with the players. But I think, in my opinion, I'm not sure what you think, Carson, but I think the moment that Coach Gonzalez subbed out Omar Ontiveros and moved Kevin Garcia from the right back side, position to the center back position, I felt that we lost a little bit of control in the defense, and that allowed Swope Park Rangers to feel more comfortable attacking, because he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was subbed out at the 71st minute, and in the 75th minute, that's when the Kevin Garcia's own goal happened.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it might have changed the game a little bit. Obviously, Ontiveros and Kevin are 2 completely different players, so I think anything like that just kind of changes the dynamic. Carlton Belmar was going to score at some point in that match, and Kev scoring the own goal, but it was either going to be Kevin knocking an own goal or Belmar knocked it in himself, so I don't blame him much for that. And then obviously Belmar scored the second one as well.
Yeah.
Those guys are tough to defend. You're not going to find a lot of teams that shut out Swope Park. I don't know when the last time they got shut out was. I think it definitely changed it, but I think honestly, as unfortunate as it is, I think they were going to give up a goal at some point anyway.
Yeah, right at the end, it was, as far when it comes to stats, they had 63.4% possession. Swope Park Rangers did, compared to 36.6 of RGV. So I knew a goal was coming. I could just feel it as soon as I saw that the ref was gonna add 4 minutes. Like I just felt like they're gonna score. Might as well just brace myself for it. And the next minute, that's when Belmar scored that the tying goal. So it was pretty it's pretty sad, but you know you got to shake it off.
It's funny how stoppage time works in soccer. That if your club's winning, you always hope it's a minute held up on the board, and then if they're losing, you're hoping it's like 12 minutes. But yeah, unfortunately, the stoppage time didn't go in our favor this time.
Yeah, and I think the best example happened last year in that playoff game against OKC.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, but so after this game, we're going to be playing against a team that is already qualified for the playoffs, and that's Phoenix Rising FC. They did lose last week on the 30th against Sacramento Republic 2-0. They played away at Sacramento, but I don't think they looked that bad. So,
is Didier Drogba still playing with them, huh?
Well, I think last I heard, he had gotten surgery on something, so he hasn't been playing. I'm not sure. Like I said, that's the last I had heard, that he had surgery. That's why he hadn't been playing for the last couple of games.
Just stay off the pitch, old man.
Yeah, Drogba all season has kind of been in and out of the lineup. When I'm told, he should be playing tonight, and then I'll actually be at the match on Saturday. I'm hoping he plays Saturday. And I know Sean Wright Phillips has been playing as well. So, before that loss last week, they won 4 straight. They're definitely not a bad team.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those teams that it's surprised like how well they got better. At the last part of the season, since they were. Remember the last time that we played against them, when we played the home game against them, they were 11th, we were 12th, and now they're in 5th place. Already clinched playoffs, and we're still pretty much in the same position. So I got to give kudos to the new coach. I mean, he got it. He got this team like right in the middle of the season with a really unexpected stepping down of their former manager, and so he managed to turn things around for them, and then having to deal as well with having to. I think they released Omar Bravo in mutual agreement as well, but they still managed to shake it off and just keep on doing what they're doing. But I hope with RGV that they continue to have that. This whole mentality of trying to play spoiler, like we mentioned before, the momentum for next season. Hopefully that we can build with what we have and then try to make this team better. Hopefully we can fight for playoff position next season.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the lineup is like on Saturday. I know that Justin Bilyeu and Eric Bird are both training with the Dynamo this week. And I know a lot of the guys that may be typically fringe Dynamo players will probably play in that Charities Cup match tomorrow. I know at this point it's just Malky and Maines that aren't going to play. So I'm curious to see what that lineup looks like Saturday. I know Ontiveros hadn't played before that, and they got him involved. So you might see, Lucatero. It could be a relatively young, experienced team. Hopefully they end up getting, at least 1 or 2 of those Dynamo guys down there, maybe just falling.
Yeah, because they're like the usual players I like Kevin, and I believe who else did I asked? I asked Kevin, and I asked Taylor, and they said that they weren't sure if they were going to be going down, but so. I mean, technically, we are out of the playoffs, even though mathematically it is still possible. But it's 7th and 8th place, which are the 2 Oklahoma teams. They earn 1 point. We're officially, now for sure out of the playoffs. With 2 games pending. It was going to be difficult, even if we won all 3 games, including this past one against Swope Park. With this tie, it was gonna be almost impossible. But
let's take away some positive. Man, you got a couple plugs from some good named players on that team.
Oh
man.
yeah. Bilyeu is really good. I think he's a really good left back. I'm not saying that Victor Garza wasn't bad, and, but Justin Bilyeu is has just been at another level. He brought stability to that back line, and
I'm talking about the people that you met after the game, though.
Oh,
the videos you recorded, man. Take away the positives from it. Heck yeah, that was a good game for you, man.
I got to give a huge shout out to Cal Murphy, TJ Kastner, Lucatero as well. Pretty great guys, and of course Eric Bird, who still remembers y'all.
Fly Bird, man.
I forgot to ask him about the poster though, if he still had it.
He probably framed it. We'll autograph that for you too if you want, Eric.
I'm pretty sure I was told that picture is hanging up somewhere, actually, from either Eric or one of the other guys.
Oh, heck yeah, man.
In regards to Bilyeu, obviously I saw you nice gesture after the match, but since they signed him mid-season, he's been great. Not only obviously as stability defensively, but he's going forward. He's got quality there, where a guy like maybe Kai Green isn't as good on the ball. Where Bilyeu's able to, obviously get some assists with the one to Holland last week, and it's definitely nice. He's played for Red Bulls too in the Red Bull, so he's got quality. So definitely a good acquisition for the team mid-season. Hopefully, you see him maybe get some time in the charities match and going forward with the organization.
Yeah. So I just want to take a little bit of the time, speaking of Justin Bilyeu, I'm pretty sure whoever follows me or down in the RGV, you did see the retweet about Justin Bilyeu, who gave his shirt, his game worn shirt, to a friend of mine from middle school and high school. Had something a terrible accident, happened to him which left him in a coma for months. And it all, so he had pretty much had to relearn how to walk, how to talk, and he's barely in the process, going through rehabilitation to try to get as close, back to normal. And just that detail of Justin Bilyeu listening to his story, giving him an autograph and giving the autograph on that shirt to Cordy. It was something that really warms my heart, and just the humanity that Justin Bilyeu has. So I gotta applaud him for that. Thank you, Justin, for being such a good representative for RGBFC. So
no doubt about that. Obviously, it's nice to have a good player, and even better to have a better person.
Mm-hmm. So Carson, where can we find you at?
Find me at Carson A. Merck on Twitter, and then my Bull in its Horns was released today, and then if for whatever reason you're in the Phoenix area, feel free to catch me at the match on Saturday.
Yeah. Also, I do want to put out there right now, with all the things going on in Las Vegas, we are glad that you were safe.
Yes.
It's. I really, for once, I'm at a loss of words for all that. We're just glad that you're here safe, and yeah.
I'm definitely glad that myself and everyone I know and love out here is safe. Obviously, there was a large chunk of people that were not that fortunate.
Yeah.
So, everyone, there's some good efforts going on right now, raising money and lines around the building that donate blood, all kinds of stuff like that. So
yeah.
I'm kind of similar to how Houston rallied around after the hurricane. It seems to be uniting people here, which is great.
Yeah.
But thankfully. Yeah, it was a crazy ass weekend. I was actually asleep when it happened. I woke up to it was like 70 texts. It was pretty interesting.
Now, not to get too deep, but how far away from that area do you live?
So I actually live probably 15 to 20 minutes away from there. What was weird was I'm rarely on the strip, and actually a couple hours before that, my girlfriend and my cousins and a couple friends and I had gone to the hockey game here and actually parked at Mandalay Bay.
Wow.
So we were actually there not too long before that, so that was kind of creepy.
Yeah. Well, again, we're glad you're safe, and can't wait to have you on next week.
And we also look forward to watching your new NHL team this year as well.
Yeah, how about it was a nice little atmosphere in there.
Well, if Houston ends up getting one, we'll let you come in for those games, just not Dynamo games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of other sports outside of soccer, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but if the Astros win their series and the Indians win ours, which obviously we will, we're coming to kick ass in Houston.
Bring it on.
All right, Carson.
I'll be counting the days.
Till next week.
All right, so Josh, where can they find us at?
Yeah, guys, you guys can find us at the Peel05 on Twitter. You can like our Facebook page, the Peel 2005. You can visit our website, thepeellive.com. You can also like our friends 8th Wonder Brew on Twitter, and then also Dynamo Theory on Twitter and Facebook and their website. And then also, what's your Twitter handle?
Our Twitter handle is @DownInTheRGV. So give us a follow. We'll try to see what we can do to make y'all stay better during the off season. Any Toros news that come out, we'll be sure to post it on there, and I will retweet Carson's article for this week as well after the show. So,
and I will also post it in the comment or in the descriptions for the podcast and the YouTube show. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go to break, and when we get back, we'll talk some FC Dallas issues.
Frisco.
Frisco, which works out for us. They've made a big
But will they? Yeah.
We'll let Sean take lead on that.
Yeah, we'll
he probably knows a bit more about it than we do. He's more
cheaters. Let's not say cheaters.
Smarter.
Right? Cheaters.
Cheater, pumpkin eater.
Cheaters. Just like Dallas has always been cheaters.
Yeah. So when we get back from break, we'll jump on that.
All right.
All right.
This is Jaleel Nibaba, and you're listening to The Peel.
Welcome back, Sean.
Thanks. Yeah, welcome back. That was Down in the Valley with Edson and Carson.
Was there an intro video for that?
Yes, there was.
Oh, fantastic.
Also, let me first give props. Actually, I'm going to save it for the end of the show. Let's save it for the end of the show. We'll get into the Dallas stuff now.
Absolutely.
Sean, go ahead.
So Frisco are going to lose a point.
I mean, that's as simple as you could put it.
Okay, so let me actually go into the details. So,
you okay there, buddy?
I'm choking.
Oh man.
I'm choking just like Dallas.
Solid.
Damn. Okay, I wish Eddie was here. He would be like, that is fantastic. Anyway, so Dallas, in their infinite wisdom, back against it was a match against Minnesota. Actually, they submitted a starting lineup which had Barrios in it and no Tesho Akindele. They then started Tesho Akindele when the whistle blew. He was on the pitch and Barrios was not. And then they subbed Barrios onto the pitch in like the 60-something minute. The FIFA rules dictate that you cannot sub a player. The FIFA rules dictate that once the lineup card is in the ref's hand, if you swap a player out, the player who is being swapped out cannot sub into the match after. They are considered already being subbed on. You don't lose the substitution, but you don't get the capability to sub that player back on. So by Barrios subbing back on later on in the match, they were in violation of the FIFA rules. So the way the FIFA rules work is when you violate this particular FIFA statute, you forfeit the match with a 3-0 defeat. Just like if you field an ineligible player, which is exactly what it is. So there's discussions going on in MLS. The reality is, if there's discussions going on in MLS, if FIFA has already stated that it was a violation of FIFA rules, which they've stated that, they're gonna suffer the defeat. They drew Minnesota in the match, in the actual match, so that draw is now going to be a 0-3 loss, which puts them 1 point lower than us, which is even better, and makes their road to the playoffs even harder. Which is
Tim says 2 points.
2 points?
2 points.
Oh yeah, because they're 1 point now, so
yes.
Yeah, they'll be 2 points behind us. But the best part of that is that they lose 3-0 to Minnesota.
No,
Orlando.
Orlando.
That's right, it was Orlando. Thank you for correcting me. Orlando. Even better, Orlando.
You're damn right we're going to.
Because if it's Minnesota, then it actually could affect us.
It's
it
actually,
being Orlando, it doesn't matter.
It will play bigger than just for us, too. I mean, Orlando is on the outside looking in, too.
It moves them. This victory moves them within striking distance of a playoff spot.
And there's, you don't have the standings up. I'll have to bring them up. But there's, 3 teams in the East that can, in reality, make the playoffs?
Well, it's just like here in the West. There's 6 teams that can make the playoffs out of, 10?
Yeah, but
actually,
how many
7
how many
teams?
have locked it up in the West right now? Just one, right? Vancouver.
Just Vancouver. And Vancouver hasn't locked their position up yet.
No,
they've just locked it. They've
the difference
made the
with
playoffs.
the East is every team but one has locked off that last playoff spot.
Because the East is easier than the West.
Yes.
It would. Yes, it will hurt the Red Bulls.
Oh.
And I have it on very good authority that this is definitely going to take place, that they are definitely going to have to forfeit this match. I mean, it would be different if it wasn't a FIFA sanction. And this is not like it was a rule that came out a few weeks before or came out just this season. This rule has been a long-standing rule for at least 3 or 4 seasons, if not longer. And, again, the big kicker is this is not an MLS-specific rule. This is a FIFA rule. This is not something that they should be clueless about. And, so, I mean, the only thing I can think about what MLS is trying to figure out is whether it's, how they're going to exactly handle it, but they're definitely going to have to forfeit the match.
But so here is, and this is what Josh and I were talking about earlier, is because this week's already started, don't you think they would have came down with a decision by the start of this week?
This is MLS. That's not how MLS works. They're not like the NFL. They're not like MLB. They're not like NBA. They don't do it that way. FIFA doesn't do it that way.
So how long until we actually hear?
There'll probably be another week. It'll be next week sometime.
You know what happened? It'll happen on decision day.
that's you laugh, but that's actually very possible as well.
How pissed would you be if you were Frisco? And you're hypothetically, if you're sitting above the playoff
First
line.
of all, if you're a Frisco fan, you're a Frisco fan. So what do you have to be pissed about?
But no,
Secondly, now who does this fall on though more than anybody?
It falls
Oscar
on Coach.
Pereira.
It falls on Oscar Pereira. So I know previously I had thrown Oscar Pereira down as being a coach that I would like to see for the U.S. men's national team. I'm now rescinding that call, that shout out for Oscar Pereira. I now want Wilmer Cabrera for sure.
Could you imagine if he pulled a Martinique against Panama? If he was our coach?
He would. You act like he wouldn't. I think he would. If he was in that situation, I think he would. Now, he wouldn't do it against Panama. He'd be looking at a totally different caliber of squad.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in the same situation, honestly, if it was me, I would have done the exact same thing. I had no problem with that.
How does a coach do something so Bush League, I guess you could say?
It wasn't Bush League. It was not Bush League at all. This was political. This was him pointing out something that he completely disagreed with. And the player is talented enough and good enough. And honestly, that FIFA rule in this particular situation, it was stupid.
Yeah,
absolutely a stupid rule and it affects a quarter of the 10th of countries that are in in FIFA. I mean, you're talking Martinique and like one other territorial area that it affects, and I don't know if you understand the details behind it, but basically. The Martinique is a French territory in
they
South
don't count
America.
anyway because they're not a quote FIFA team.
Because
they're a French territory.
They're a French territory, and France already has a team.
Oh, that's my noteworthy thing. We'll get into that about territories.
So it's just, and it's just stupid. It's like, FIFA. The way FIFA's handling it, they're screwing over the little guys. And I actually applaud the coach for having the balls and the gumption to go up against it publicly in such a public display. It got tons of coverage, and a lot of analysts were saying the same thing. We don't like that they're doing it, but we do like the fact that he's doing, we don't like the fact that the coach is putting his team in this position, but we like the fact that the coach is definitely protesting in a way that is getting publicity and getting noticed.
Yeah. But why is Oscar Pereira doing the same thing?
No, this wasn't a protest. This was just him being stupid.
Yeah, so doesn't he? So I'm just assuming he's
from
just
Frisco.
an
What do you
idiot.
expect?
No. Yeah.
Is that your answer to anything that happens to FC Dallas? They're from Frisco.
It's Frisco. What do you expect?
All right, moving on. I know you had a newsworthy thing, and hopefully it's not the same thing as mine, Sean.
Well, I already told you what mine was.
Is that what it was?
I don't know. You didn't say
The
what
FC
yours
Dallas
was.
stuff. Okay.
No, that wasn't it.
Oh, well, what was yours?
So
we'll let you go first.
Oh, okay. So today it was announced publicly that Houston has made the final list of 32 teams 32 cities that are in the running for the host for the World Cup bid for 2026. Now,
Edson will like this next one. San Antonio was shoved off.
Yeah, San Antonio is no longer on that list. Dallas is still on that list, but whatever. But here's the kicker, and this to me is important because there's something that I see something in this actual nugget of information. U.S. Soccer is meeting here, or the entire bid committee is meeting here in Houston to for the next discussion, the next level of where this is going to go after this. So they're meeting in Houston. That says something to me. That tells me.
That says knockout.
That says you're understanding exactly where I'm going. We're getting something. I feel like Houston very well could be a final destination.
The only reason I say no,
or a semifinal.
Yeah, semifinal. Yes. Semifinal. Yes.
Yeah. Still,
I'm gonna tell you right now. There's only three stadiums that will host a final in the World Cup here in the U.S. The Rose Bowl, Jerry World, and MetLife in New York.
NRG.
I'm
going to challenge you on it. NRG would host it.
Attendance.
I'm sorry, I was actually going to say the Cowboy Stadium.
Cowboy Stadium is probably honestly the final because of how many seats they can put in there.
There's two Texas teams. Yeah, I have to say Dallas.
But see, if you look at it, MetLife, Jerry World, and Rose Bowl all hold close to 100,000, if not more. I think the Rose Bowl is slightly over 100,000. The final will not be here in Houston because of that one fact. More ticket sales, and you know how greedy FIFA is with money.
I guess we'll see, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm just...
Well, I will say this. So, right, the bid itself, so the Olympics also, there's a bid for the Olympics, and it's an LA bid in 20-something as well.
Well, actually, it wouldn't even be in the Rose Bowl. It'd be at LA Rams / Chargers' new stadium.
Oh, that stadium actually holds more than 5,000 fans? I had no idea. That's all that ever show up there.
No, I mean the new stadium.
Oh, the one they're building.
The new Ram stadium.
Yeah.
So AT&T Stadium holds 100,000.
So the Dallas Stadium holds 100,000.
Rose Bowl 92,000.
Rose Bowl holds 92K. I thought that was right. Yeah.
And MetLife 82.5.
MetLife is 82, so it's not going to be at MetLife either.
It's AT&T.
But you know what? Energy holds what 79.5 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's without them adding any additional seats too, and they could add additional seats for something like that.
Is this bidding open to the public to go watch or no?
No, because it won't be anything. This will be all.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be LA. You look at the glitz and glamour of LA. Their brand new stadium at that time will only be about it'll be 8 years old, something like that.
I would assume it'd be in New York over LA.
No,
it's not going to be at MetLife.
No.
Try again.
No, it would be in LA. It's
either going to be Dallas. So here's why I say Dallas, right? So if they play the semifinals here in Houston, then that's a short trip to Dallas.
Yeah, that's true.
They can kind of use this whole Texas area, and all around here, and it would make sense for travel arrangements. You could still have an LA and a New York for the group stages, but then for the actual, in Canada for the group stage, and Mexico, and you could have a Mexico for the group stage.
Yeah,
Mexico City, and that's not that far from here.
No.
I mean, and so this is kind of the central area. So that one thing they're also looking at as part of this bid is what city is going to host the headquarters for the actual World Cup itself.
You don't think there'd be 3 headquarters since it is a 3-country bid?
No, because it's not a group. It's not a group headquarters. It's one headquarters for the entire
I get what you're saying.
And so, anyways, the whole reason I bring this up and the reason why it's important is Houston is being looked at for something.
Yeah.
And it's something important because they wouldn't be meeting here other than we're central. I mean, why not in Dallas?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying.
Not to cut you short.
You're cutting me short. It's okay.
Well, no, it's only because we've got about 10 minutes left. I don't want to try to go over 2 hours.
Whatever.
But I will. The news thing I wanted to bring up, it's not MLS related and it's not US related, which I wanted to stay on. But
is it Mazar Russia?
No.
Oh, I want to talk about that too.
It is the fact that Catalonia, who was part of Spain, is part of Spain.
Catalan.
Yes, has voted for their independence, which is not recognized by Spain, but it is.
Correct.
Which I'm not going to give you too deep of a history
lesson.
There's a
lot of politics.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Spain invaded Catalonia many years ago, took them over and said, this land's ours. Kind of like what Russia did to Crimea, excuse me. Anyway, what this does mean is Barcelona, probably the most successful team in the world,
no longer plays in Spain,
would no longer have a home in La Liga.
And you know what's really crazy about that, and just tying that into MLS and US-based stuff, Barcelona is very close to determining the home of their NWSL team, and they are going to get an NWSL team. I don't have that on fact. I just know it. Solidly know
New York?
this.
Carly Lloyd, New York?
I can't say anything at this point.
Off air.
Yeah, we'll talk off air.
Anyway, what that does mean is Barcelona would be able to move to any of the European leagues. There's already rumor that Premier League would allow that to happen.
What?
Yes.
How would they handle travel?
It's not that far.
Well, you say that, but I mean, compared to all the other English teams,
It's not any different than in NASL when teams are traveling to Puerto Rico.
No, I get that. But there's never been a Premier League team that's had to travel that distance.
No.
I mean, there's a lot. Oh, wow.
But I'm not saying it's going to happen.
I want it to
but
happen.
there was an article that came out on...
You know what, though? The big clubs in the Premier League, if they do it, the only reason they do it is because it's extra eyeballs on the league.
Oh, yeah. But I'm trying to think. I mean...
There's no precedence.
Financially, Barcelona has a higher... I don't want to say revenue, but they're worth leaps and bounds more than a lot of EPL teams. And I would hate to see them go there and they win the league for 10 straight years because I honestly think they're that good.
I don't.
Over EPL?
I don't. Because the one thing that Barcelona lacks that a lot of the EPL teams have, first of all, the EPL teams have the benefit of academies. Barcelona's academy right now, it's churning out players, but not to the level that the Premier League academies are.
That's true.
Number two, they haven't had to fall into that system in the Premier League. They're not challenged to the same level that they would be challenged in the Premier League.
Let me also throw this out there.
And the Premier League play is very different from the style in Spain.
Yeah, that's true.
And so the question becomes, are Premier League teams week in and week out? See, there's the difference. We're not talking CCL where it's one match every few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking, or not CCL, but we're not talking Champions League. We're talking where they would be playing these teams week in, week out, sometimes 2-3 times in a week. There's a different physicality. I don't think that Barcelona could handle it.
Do you think we will see a day? Because I honestly think this independence thing is going to happen. There's a lot of traction there, and there's a lot of turmoil there. Do you think we could possibly be seeing the day where there is no more Barcelona?
No, never going to happen. They will move and they will find a different location before. I mean,
You think maybe they could play in Portugal or France?
They
Since
could.
It's relatively close.
Yeah, they could play in Portuguese league. Yeah, I could see it in France. I could see them in Liga 1.
Because, well, Monaco, which isn't part of France, plays in... No, they play in the Spanish league.
Yeah,
right?
they play in the
Yeah,
Spanish
that's right. Aren't they off the coast?
AS
of-
Monaco.
Aren't they off the coast, though, of France? Aren't they...
They're on one of the islands.
Yeah,
They're not. Yeah. We'll have to research it for next week. I mean, we're bumping up,
Yeah.
buddy. He's
So-
still got his to go, and Edson still has to give something.
Do you have one for the week?
Give a news item.
No.
Okay.
You didn't see the. Okay,
Edson-
I'm gonna help him out since he didn't have
No.
one. I'll let
Unfortunately-
Edson go, and then I'll
well,
go. next.
I don't have Edson's mic plugged in.
No,
'cause
it's okay.
We have the.
He can talk to you and tell
Okay.
you what he has. Okay, he doesn't have anything.
Okay, he doesn't have anything.
All right, so the two slackers over here.
Go ahead and while I'll transition in, bring up the U.S. men's national team. In case you didn't know,
Wait,
that's
dude,
part of the
had
reason.
something in you.
No, Edson
Oh
closed
no!
it.
I got a World Soccer news. Hey, Benny Feilhaber was called back up to the World Cup qualifier.
We're getting there.
Okay, hold
hey,
on. No,
there's
I
my
have
new-
something
there's
that doesn't
my
deal
news
with
right
any of this
there.
stuff. That's a world event thing.
Oh,
that,
go ahead.
Did you see the picture of the Russia stadium?
Oh yes,
yeah.
where it looks like
Yeah.
the one side is totally
That-
going on scaffolding.
Oh, that scaffolding is going to come down during a World Cup match.
Hopefully that's not where AO would sit.
And,
Oh,
and
God.
the way their hooligans are there. Oh my
man.
God.
There's going to be flares at the bottom of that thing.
Are they going to make it to the bottom?
It's an absolute disaster waiting to happen.
Anyway, getting into that, there is a
What am I
match
pulling up over
Friday.
here?
The roster
Oh, okay.
Friday.
I'll find it.
7:00. U.S. men's national team plays Panama. I'm going to tell you right now, these are the two biggest matches in U.S. soccer history. If we lose any one of these matches, we will not be going to the World Cup.
Yes.
I don't see it happening.
I agree with you.
Yep.
Well, I already said that we weren't.
Well, yes. Sean, we both know where we stand on this. Josh is the only one that's slightly optimistic about this.
No, Edson was too.
Okay, Edson was too.
Why? Wait, hang on. Why are y'all so downful about this? Like, we're hosting Panama. That's our chance. That's our chance, and the players know it. Like,
Sean, we're going to go over 2 hours, but that's fine. We'll chop it into 2 seconds.
Did you not see how we played against Panama?
The voice for the fans, Alexi Lawless, slamming these guys. Okay,
And it was
now you
totally
have
warranted.
something- Now you have something to. Yeah, no.
Okay, yes.
It should be. He should be slamming.
But did you
that.
also see how
Now
they
you have something
reacted?
that you got to play for.
They brushed it off like it didn't matter.
Because that's what they're doing for the media. That shit gets to their heads, dude. I promise you. You're going to see a different team coming into this. Yes, make the World Cup. That's it. Qualify. Squeak in.
Okay.
Or you're welcome, USA.
Well, he's saying
Sit
Mexico
down.
owes us one.
I would rather lose, to be honest. I would rather not make the World Cups than be in the same
I don't
position.
want to because I don't want to miss out on
You know
4
what that
years
would
of Pulisic
do?
not doing anything.
No, I know that's very that's very dark to say that, but the reality is nothing's going to change where it needs to change, which is at the top with apparently limp-wristed Sunil. The change needs to happen there, right? And it's not going to change until we miss out on the World Cup. That's why I say that.
Well, he already has a challenger anyway for the presidency, and I think he wins it easy. I don't think I don't think he gets it.
You obviously don't understand how soccer government.
Well, I mean, he'll be paid. Somebody will pay for him or Sunil to continue being a president. But
How long did it take for Sepp Blatter to...
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's going to come down to NASL versus MLS, U.S. soccer structure. U.S. soccer's going to.
So going into the lineup, if you want to go ahead and read through it real quick, Sean, and I'll tell you my biggest question mark on what the hell.
Okay, so the players that have been called in: Calen Acosta, Juan Agudelo, Josie Altidore, Paul Ariola. I don't think he's Spanish. I don't know why I'm giving it a Spanish accent. DeMarcus Beasley, Alejandro Badoya.
Garbage.
Matt Beasler, Michael Bradley, Jeff
Garbage.
Cameron, Clint Dempsey, Benny Feilhaber, Omar Gonzalez, even more garbage.
Yes.
And I had to actually call that one out just so that's clear.
Yeah.
Brad Guzan,
That one's for you, Caleb.
Tim Howard, Dax McCarty. I love him. Darlington Nagby. So Dax McCarty is the Richard Mulrooney of the U.S. men's national team.
I agree.
Michael Orozco. Why? Christian Pulisic.
He better be on the team sheet permanently and permanent marker for the next 25 years.
He could get injured, so you can't say that for sure. Tim Ream.
Why?
Nick Raimondo. Dude, y'all got to be serious and honest about it. There's no way a player ever is going to make it through through 25 years. Of
I
not
know
injured.
there was a little bit of sarcasm there, but
Well, don't ever be sarcastic.
if DMB can be
I'm not
put on
done
this
yet.
team,
Let me finish.
and he's 100,
We're not
Pulisic.
done.
Well, but Beasley's been injured when playing for the U.S.
Jorge
team.
Villafana.
I didn't say Nick Raimondo. He's my
I
favorite
thought you did
keeper,
say Nick
actually.
Raimondo.
Tim Ream, Nick Raimondo, Jorge Villafana.
Oh, here we go. Here's a good one.
Chris
Wando.
Wondolowski.
Why?
Bobby Wood, DeAndre Yedlin, and my favorite, Graham Zusi. And I say favorite very sarcastically.
Okay, so my biggest question mark deals with Wando,
Okay.
and why not Dwyer?
Is Fabian Johnson still injured?
Because Bruce Arena, and that's why. Is Fabian Johnson still injured? The answer is no, he's not. And should
Where
he
the
have been
hell is
called
he?
up? I agree with you completely. Somebody else mentioned that on Twitter, too.
Because
Like,
he is one of the
Edson,
best
our-
backups I've seen in a long
our
time.
Type in,
Sorry.
type
Our
in Fabian
pool-
Johnson. There's an article that came out about it, and I meant to pull it up, and I
our
totally
pool
forgot.
is not that deep that we should be sitting there. I mean, look at the players that were called in. Our pool is not that deep that we should be sitting there and turning away Fabian Johnson.
No.
No.
But I was telling Josh, and outside of this cycle, I am more excited for the next cycle. Josh Sargent,
Yeah, the U20s. Yeah,
the U20s, and
Yeah.
Pulisic will be
part of that. Yeah,
he will
He's
be
part of the revolution of U.S. men's soccer. But here's the thing: we said that before this one started too. We had a group of U20s that were good.
You're still going to see a lot of these. I mean, not a lot, but.
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
still gonna
Nagby will
see a
still be
handful.
part of that
Yeah,
group.
Help me out here, Carter
Michael
Vickers.
Bradley.
Yeah, Cameron Carter Vickers. You have Peters, Walker Peters, Kevin Walker
Jesse
Peters,
Gonzalez.
Jesse Gonzalez.
Sebastian Leggett.
No, get away.
Dude, Sebastian Leggett?
We're talking young players, brother.
Hey,
He's young.
let me ask you this on a side
He's
note.
not that young. Go look
Christian
up his age.
Ramirez,
Like
he's American.
26. Yeah.
Do you think he could get a call up?
Sorry, we're looking up the.
Should he get a call up? The answer is yes.
Yeah,
Will
I mean,
he?
The guy's solid
Look,
this
it's
year.
the same thing I've said since the day that they announced
25.
Bruce Arena. I was close, 25, 26. I told you it's about 26. It's a Bruce Arena thing. We saw the same thing happen when Bruce Arena was coach before. This is how Bruce Arena is. He knows his players he likes, and if you're not one of those players that he likes, good luck getting into the lineup. He is the Jill Ellis of men's soccer. I mean, it's just honest and real and true, but he is the Jill Ellis of U.S. men's soccer. And Why we brought him back, I guess for some stability, because players were pissed off about how bad Jurgen was. But, for all the talk that Bruce has changed and, he's more apt to looking at younger players, I'm not seeing it. So Pulisic is about the only player he's looked at, and that's because he's freaking amazing.
Hold on. I got news about Fabian. So Fabian's issue, and it boils down to concerns about how the veteran wing would perform in hot conditions in Florida and the Caribbean, and that's from the Washington Post.
Don't
4
play him
days
a
ago.
full freaking match. Get out of here with that crap. Don't play him in a full. Oh, see that? Oh, that right there. That's a smear campaign by some jackass reporter.
Hey.
Well, no, that was from Bruce Arena.
Well, there's your answer right there. Who did it come from? The guy who left him off the roster. Get out of here, Bruce Arena.
Bruce Arena. Okay, after the World Cup.
He's not making it a year.
Reevaluate.
So I come back to this, right?
It's just.
So
it's
my
just like
fury. My fury over Bruce Arena is what drives my passion to see him gone, and what drives my passion. I need a.
We're getting a rant button next week.
I need a fire
okay?
button, man.
We're getting a rant button next week.
But my passion for this, my anger and my fury towards this, is the fact that I've seen this happen before. I've been through this experience before. I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. I know what comes next, which is that we then have a period of time where we don't really know who our next coach is going to be, and we have to wait until the next camp before we pull him in.
Can I say one thing? All right, 2002, didn't we go through the same issues with Bruce Arena?
We did, and then we brought in Bob Bradley.
And then we went on to go to the quarterfinal and got screwed out by a handball against Germany.
Yeah,
in the World Cup.
I mean, look, okay, yes, things like that can happen. But the difference was back then we had a much deeper pool, in my opinion.
At this point, it's just qualify, qualify for the World Cup.
But that's my point.
But
what happens if he misses? You don't think it's possible that we miss?
Oh, so it's very possible.
Real quick, to lighten this argument real quick, Racker tweeted us. Racker.
Tallywhacker.
He tweeted us. He's like, he knows how they can fit more seats in NRG. Look at the Russia Stadium.
Well, that's very fair.
No.
All right. So anyway,
okay.
You were saying, go ahead, continue, Josh. I appreciated what you were about to say.
I'm on the track of it's kind of
like you said. What matters right now is qualify. I don't argue
qualify.
that.
It's just like the Dynamo, get into the playoffs.
I think the difference is, last year.
Assess everything afterwards.
Last year, I kind of felt the same way with the Dynamo. I wanted to see them just be as bad as possible. Once we had screwed up halfway through the season, so that we could move on from Wade Barrett. I told you I was not a Wade Barrett fan by the end of the season because he was too conservative. He was too structured in a certain way. Look at what happened when we brought Wilmer in. The same thing could happen with Bruce Arena. We could not qualify, and then Tav Ramos is brought up, and he knows his players, and he could be okay. We could see any number of other coaches. I would love to see Tata Martino.
Oh God, yes.
But the thing is there's a cycle. He's going to need a cycle to acclimate.
But I'm going to pull qualify though. We're probably still not going to see Bruce Arena after this World Cup.
I'm going to pull that, but if Sunil is still in charge, Sean, you do not know.
On the Tab Ramos, I'm going to pull Men in Blazers there because, watch the show. They do that regularly.
No, I know. But this is not Men in Blazers. We have higher standards.
Dang.
We have Eddie Robinson on the show. I'm just saying.
Even Tim's like, what?
Travis.
Travis, my fault. My fault. You know why? Because I
feel free to unfollow Justin.
Tim Ream's face down here.
That's why. That's exactly why.
Don't stick up for him. That was just bad. At least he got the T right.
Okay, so real quick, we got a couple minutes before we try to take this and give away our tickets.
You should go ahead and do that. These people have been listening for 2 hours now. Just go ahead and do it. Just do it.
No, hold on. I want your predictions on this match. On these two matches.
We do need to have.
What two matches? Oh, the U.S. matches?
Yeah, you could just do win, loss, draw. You don't have to put out points.
Oh, I'm giving scores. Oh, this is going to be great. Are you
real
ready?
quick, hold on. So the first match against Panama, that is Friday, 6:30 our times when the coverage starts on ESPN2. The TNT match, which also, let me also throw in there, was moved to a 10,000 seat stadium. That match will be on Tuesday at 7 o'clock on BN Sports. Go ahead with your prediction there, Sean.
No, go ahead, Josh. I'm pulling something else up that I want to pull up real quick.
3-0 USA against Panama. Yeah, no, I say comeback Kings, backs against the wall. They demolished Honduras when they faced us before. I think they can do it again. I think Clint Dempsey shows up. I think Josie shows up. I think these guys get their head out of their asses, and they just absolutely steamroll over Panama. And Justin? We have nothing to worry about heading into Trinidad and Tobago.
He doesn't feel the same way, clearly.
No, I really don't.
Because y'all don't look at what's happened in the past. Because of
No, but that's the problem.
It's the past, but
If we keep looking in the past, we're going to have a 50-year-old
this
Clint
team-
Dempsey starting at the
this
top of this
team,
lineup
they
and failing
They
on
know.
us.
They have their backs against the wall. They're playing against Panama. Their fate is in their hands.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
I'm going to say something happens. It's a draw against Panama, and we squeak out a win in TNT.
Okay. Edson?
2-1 against Panama
He says 2-1 against Panama,
and 3-1 against Trinidad.
3-1 against Trinidad.
That's actually probably the most realistic. So here's my prediction, and I'm going to get eaten alive on Twitter for this. Panama wins 3-0.
Who scores for them?
For Panama?
Blast Perez.
No, it's not
no.
Perez.
No,
They've got some great players.
Blues fan says 1-1 draw Panama, and Torres scores with the late equalizer.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But 3-0 Panama. And then I'm going to throw you a curveball and say that Trinidad Tobago draw us.
Ooh.
1-1. They score a goal on us late.
So wait, were you saying we lose 3-0 against Panama?
Yes, we lose 3-0 against Panama.
Ooh.
That will be the straw that breaks Bruce Arena's back.
Oh yeah. He better be fired on that airplane back. I mean,
They better be fired out of the airplane on the way back.
They did it. They did it to Jurgen Klinsmann right after that match. So
Can we place a friendly wager on it?
No.
No. not this one. There's too much already on the line.
Not U.S. soccer.
There's already too much on the line.
Dynamo. Anyways, all right. So we've done our predictions now.
Yeah.
So I don't remember what I was gonna say. Damn it. It was good too. Whatever it was important.
You pulled me.
Oh, do the freaking tickets, dude.
Oh yeah.
These people have been waiting 2 hours and 7.5 minutes for you to draw a name.
I got the randomizer this time. Okay,
All right, we have two sets of 2 tickets to give away. If you are here, you're too late.
Your mic's not on.
We're in stoppage time now. We gotta get this
We were in
show
stoppage
on-
time
show
7.5 minutes ago.
Show on the road. There must have been a lot of injuries.
Did you get his email?
All right, can I have a name?
Edson failed. So the first set of tickets will go. Don't do that.
All right, come on, hurry
we'll
up.
go to Eric Anaya.
What?
Eric Anima.
Anima. It's like anime, but with an A.
Okay.
Anima.
I was hoping you were going that route. The second one.
No, it's not like an enema.
The second one will be going to Brian Page.
Brian Page. Hey,
Yes.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
Brian.
So you guys will be getting 2 sets of tickets. If you're still watching,
Congrats
yes.
to both.
If you're still watching, if not, we'll also reach out to you too.
Also,
I
let
will
it
need
be
your
known
emails.
that it would be really good if you are watching right now and you did win those tickets. I'm talking to you almost specifically, Brian, and also you as well, Eric. If you are watching or you are in listening distance, come say hi. And then also, if you are watching and you are on Twitter, please tweet us. That way we can get your information just to make sure, because it'll be good.
Eric, follow the Peel and tweet us.
At the Peel 05.
Yes. We need your info.
All right, so that just about does it for the show.
Yeah.
I really do feel like that is probably a good way to end this show.
It was a great show. We had Eddie Robinson on.
It was a show.
I'm angry at you guys. I'm leaving this show angry tonight.
Oh, you're always angry.
Y'all's predictions just disappoint me. Break my heart.
We're realists.
Well, look, it's better we break your heart now, because later, when the U.S. does suffer 0-3 to Panama, how badly is your heart going to be broken then?
I hope they really do steamroll so that way I can just say I told you so.
You know what? See, the reason I do a prediction like that is so that I can say, you know what? Who cares? I was wrong. I'm
You
okay
set
with being
yourself-
wrong.
You set yourself up for failure.
And if I was right, then hell yeah.
So
I'm the only one predicting it.
Thank you again, Eddie, for coming on live to the show.
Thank you, Eddie Robinson. We
Yes,
appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Calen Carr.
Remember the
Happy
burger
birthday.
tour. Remember the burger tour.
Yes, thank you, Calen Carr. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Travis, for coming out and saying hi.
Yes. Thank you, Carson, as always, for calling in. Glad you're safe. We are still kind of debating about next show. As of right now, it is going to be Thursday.
No, we agreed. It's Thursday.
Yeah,
Is it Thursday?
Thursday.
Only because
Yeah.
there's a U.S. game Tuesday, there's a Dynamo game Saturday.
Exactly.
Or, I mean,
there's-
Wednesday.
There's a
excuse
lot
me.
of juggling going
Wednesday,
on. Yeah.
yes.
So it's Thursday.
Thursday's good.
We will be back here. We will most maybe have tickets.
All right. So, Josh, where can they find us?
Yeah.
Yes, guys, you can follow us at the Peel05 on Twitter. You can like our Facebook page, the Peel 2005. Visit our website, thepeellive.com. Like our friends 8th Wonder at 8th Wonder Brew. And then also visit our friends Dynamo Theory.
I'm Sean.
I'm Justin.
I'm Josh.
And that's Butters.
Butters.
And
we are the Peel.
Peel out.
Forever Orange and
Forever
Houston Strong.
Orange.
Now play the video.